We are North. We are Southwest.
He's taken the mound as a major leaguer in 2 different millennia. He's plied his craft for 11 different teams, including one that no longer exists. He lit up the radar gun at 24 and continues to keep hitters guessing at 45. He set the baseball world on fire at 42 years old with one swing of the bat.
It's out of here! Bartolo has done it! The impossible has happened!
He brought the defending World Series champions to their knees while rarely topping 90. 21 seasons, over 500 starts, a lifetime of memorable moments. Bartolo Colon is the most interesting man in baseball.
Rangers baseball is presented by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. Well, it's the final game of this 4-game series. The A's and the Rangers in the Big Sexy is the man about town tonight. Hoping to put an end to this 3-game losing streak to the A's and get the Rangers in the win column before this road trip coming up. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you tonight. I'm Dave Rambert alongside CJ Nitkowski. It is the final game of this series. The Rangers won't be too sad to see Oakland go, and they will be interested to have well, the big guy, Bartolo Colon, on the mound. It's been a really interesting year for him.
It has been. You really didn't know what the Rangers were going to get when they signed him. We're going to take a look at the timeline of Bartolo Colon and what has really happened this year. The Rangers on March 26th, late in spring training, signed him to that minor league contract, and then we saw him on April 2nd. That contract was purchased. He made his debut and all he did was throw 6 innings and allow just a 1 run. A couple of days later, he was back in the bullpen. Hadn't done it very often in his career, and he made his 10th career relief appearance. This was a fun one, though. April 15th, he teased us a little bit with 7 perfect innings. And then on June 18th, win number 244, that gave him the most wins among Dominican-born pitchers. And then he got number 245, which is tied him for most among Latin-born pitchers. And now for Bartolo Colon, he gets the A's tonight. And that's some pretty good news for the Rangers because they are trying to figure out how to stop the Oakland A's. Well, in a couple of starts this year, Bartolo Colon has been very good against the A's. Of course, April 2nd, 6 innings, just that 1 earned run. And then again on June 6th, another 5 innings and 2 earned runs. So 11 runs for Bartolo and a couple of appearances against his former team. When you are Bartolo Colon, you pitch against your former team quite a bit.
Well, maybe the biggest item on the docket for him today is to control this man, Chris Davis. He has been a one-man wrecking crew for Oakland, and we put Chris Davis in the spotlight when we return. Rangers baseball is sponsored by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Ford is the best in Texas. By Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. against the Rangers. Oakland A's are on an incredible run, but they cannot, as a team, overshadow what Chris Davis has done in this series. He has been ridiculous, and today our Shiner light blonde spotlight squarely on Chris Davis, a designated hitter. 24 home runs and 56 RBIs while with the A's since 2016 against the Rangers. Most by any player in baseball against any opponent since 2016. So if you want the definition of dominance, there it is, Chris Davis.
Yeah, it's been pretty incredible to watch what he has done against the Rangers. Going to take you back to Tuesday. This was the 10th inning after the A's had fought back. The Rangers had a big lead, and then Davis hits the 3-run home run, ends up winning the game for the A's by a score of 13-10. And then last night in the 7th inning, a 3-run shot off Corey Guerin. This one was to dead center. A pretty impressive home run. Just see a little A's fan getting that ball. Good for him. That's okay. The Rangers were still winning. But then Chris Davis came up again. 2 outs, 2 strikes in the 9th inning, and he gets a fastball up and away from Jose Lucroy, and he hits it into the upper deck the other way. That gave the A's a 6-5 lead, and we were all stunned with the work that Chris Davis has done. And maybe Emily Jones knows how to get Chris Davis out, because apparently nobody else knows Emily.
Yeah, I definitely don't have the answers, but Jeff Bannister did call Chris Davis the boogeyman in everyone's closet, and Chris Davis has definitely played to that role in this series. When asked if they would approach him differently in the finale of this 3-game series, based not only on his numbers against this team, but strictly what they've seen with their own eyes over the last 3 games, Jeff Bannister said, just like with everything in baseball, all those things will be taken into account, and it is situational.
Well, situation has been sticky lately when he has come to the plate. It has been a really tough spot as Bartolo Colon fires to the plate, gets us underway today at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, and first pitch of the game delivered at 101 degrees. The second pitch hits Nick Martini.
I thought you were going to say 101 miles per hour.
That would be news.
Not the Bartolo Colon we know. Take a look at this. Hit by pitch by Bartolo, not surprising. A 2-seam fastball, trying to throw it front door, but he yanked that one a little bit and didn't run back over the plate, or at least on the inside corner like it usually does.
So Martini is on. That's the 56th hit batter this year by Rangers pitchers. Marcus Semien, who has led off the previous 3 games, bats second tonight. Semien at .254 with 7 home runs, and takes a big swing at this one. High in the air out there to left field, but playable for Joey Gallo. 1 away. Now the rest of the lineup for the A's: 60 wins and 43 losses. Martini and Semien up top. Lowry, Davis, Olsen. Then it's Stephen Piscotty in right field. Matt Chapman at third base, Lucroy catching, and Dustin Fowler getting the start in center field tonight.
See Joey Gallo having to deal with the sun out there in left field this evening. He's got the glasses on. He's also working the glove as well, and that's pre-pitch. That'll give you an idea how bad that sun is. Fuck, we haven't noticed that. Maybe just a little bit different here. Was it overcast yesterday? I can't remember.
Yesterday, yes, one of the days recently it's been a little bit overcast, but I'm with you. That is the first time we've really noticed at this time of day that the sun is a bit of an issue at times for an outfielder.
And Joey had been in right field the last couple of games with Nomar Mazara on the DL. Willie Calhoun was getting the starts in left, but Chu was in the outfield tonight, so that means Joey goes to left and Calhoun gets the night off. Or at least he doesn't start.
Now Jed Lowry, 17 home runs this year, but how about 14 of them have been on the road? He has homered in this series and shoots this one foul.
Let's take a look at the pitch arsenal for Bartolo Colon, which is brought to you by Shiner Light Blonde. I mentioned fastballs because you will see around 80% fastballs from Big Sexy. The changeup at 11%, the slider at 9%, and for Bartolo, he's just been a guy that continues to pound fastballs. 226 batting average against the four-seamer this year, 276 against the two-seamer.
Well, he gets ahead of Lowry, a ball and 2 strikes.
So check this out. I mean, I mentioned Bartolo and how often he throws the fastball. That is 4th highest in baseball, and that's becoming more and more rare. We are seeing even pitchers with high-powered fastballs get away from it. We've seen a couple of guys the last couple of nights where the slider usage has been higher than the fastball usage.
Boy, that one looked really good. Just missed in the eyes of Ted Barrett, our plate umpire.
Long stare there from Bartolo. He's not a fan of that pitch not being called a strike, and we talk about this a lot with Bartolo Colon. He needs those pitches. Listen, that one to me looked like it was a strike, but even corners, maybe just off a little bit. And so Bartolo, who usually works quickly, took a little bit of time after that ball call.
Martini with a modest lead at first, not going anywhere. Check swing, little comebacker. And Bartolo will barehand and have to flip it quickly, and he does so, but all the way out into right field. Martini to third base, and Lowry is safe. I think Bartolo figured that that ball was headed a little more out his way, and that was the read that I had on it initially. And once he got to it, realized, man, gonna have to hustle a little.
That's some funky spin on this ball, I think, from Jed Lowry. I think Bartolo thought this was going to bounce forward, and instead it checked up. Good backspin from Jed Lowry, I guess. See how it checked up like it sat there like a Dave Raymond pitching wedge.
There you go. Well, it's a single and an error for Lowry. And now Banny out there to talk to Ted Barrett, and he could feel that Lowry took the inside part of the lane and the throwing angle away from Bartolo. Let's see.
Both feet have to be in. Now both feet are in right there.
Yep, that's probably pretty fair.
Although, did you see that recent email we got about this rule? This was probably about 2 weeks ago. I was a little bit surprised. First of all, that it had to be 4 feet. But then Rich, our rules expert, I thought he was saying that you had to be all the way in. And I had never heard that before. I thought as long as you were on the line, you were safe.
This one flared out over second base into right field. Martini in. Lowry heads to third. Here comes a throw, and it gets past and goes into the camera well. That allows Lowry to score, and Davis goes to second base. The second error in the inning, and before we even settle in, Oakland leads 2-0. So a single, an error, no RBI on the play.
All kinds of low exit velocity from the A's. Look at Chris Davis just watching that. I mean, that was easily a base hit.
Well, he lost it. He thought he popped it up.
Oh, he didn't see it. All right. And then Chu makes a strong throw here, and it's a one hopper. But they say a strong throw, but I didn't realize how far off line it was actually. That one was significantly to the outfield side of third base. And Chu is a guy who has a pretty accurate arm usually. So a little bit of an ugly start here for the Rangers. I didn't realize Davis didn't see that ball.
Well, now Matt Olson with a man at second base. And Colon gets one right in there for a strike. Correct myself on Davis. He gets one RBI. The second run scored on the error. Any case, 2-0 Oakland. 0-2 the count on Matt Olson now. Yeah, that was weird. A very strange reaction by Davis. On the replay, you could see he looked straight up in the air, like maybe he popped that up behind home plate. I saw last night he commented after the game talking about that home run he had in the ninth inning that with 2 strikes. Said he basically blacked out. It's like, I mean, that's when you're in a zone, you just black out in the ninth inning, hitting your second home run of the game.
It's that easy, huh? I guess. I mean, he obviously didn't black out because he stayed in there and took a nearly 97-mile-an-hour fastball to the upper deck in right field here at Globe Life.
Don't even have to be conscious to hit. Now 2-strike offering now, and there's a foul ball by Olsen.
So there it is. It's the downside of saying something wrong. There's always some nerd with the right number. 97.6 was the fastball from Jose Leclerc. It was up and away. He was trying to go down and away, but that is the fastest pitch that an A's player has homered against this year. Chris Davis was apparently subconscious at the moment, partially conscious.
Yeah, probably partially conscious. Swing and a miss by Matt Olson, and he strikes out. 2 away in the inning.
Take a look at the Rangers defense tonight. It's delivered to you by Chicken Express. Joey Gallo, Carlos Tochi, and Shin Soo Choo in the outfield tonight for Jeff Bannister's club. And in his infield, it's Jurickson Profar at third, Elvis Andrews at short, Ruben Odor playing second, and Ronald Guzman at first. And it's Robinson Chirinos doing the catching.
Now 2 runs across. Stephen Piscotty now will be the hitter. Piscotty batting 6th in the order for Oakland, and this is definitely a different looking lineup for the A's with the right-hander Colon throwing. Piscotty is hitting the first 3 games of this series, 6 for 14 in fact. Here comes up empty, 1-1. Last year, a couple of stints on the disabled list kind of interrupted the flow of his season. Ended up at a .235 average with 9 home runs. So the number's much better this year. Average up 30 points. Power is up. And he swings and misses at strike 2. So Bartolo getting some whiffs in this first inning.
And that's really something we don't see a ton from Bartolo Colon. The whiff rate on most of his pitches is below average, and not surprising. He is a contact guy that relies on the ground ball, relies on weak contact, and he's got some weak contact, but unfortunately one of those was a base hit and one ultimately also an error. I guess they were both base hits. The Jed Lowry single, then the Chris Davis single, but also errors accompanied both of those plays.
You got to mix in the hit batter this inning. That certainly worked against him.
Probably the hardest hit of the inning so far.
Davis off second base. And the 2-2. This one hit past third into left field, base hit. Gallo comes up with it quickly. Davis headed to the plate. Here comes the throw. The tag. Got him at the plate. What a throw from Joey Gallo. And Davis gunned down to win the inning.
Now you can see this coming. We know Joey Gallo's got the strong arm. He got to this ball as Davis was getting to third, gets around it perfectly, battling that sun, and a one-hop throw to Robinson Chirinos as he applies the tag.
42 wins, 61 losses, and let's take a look at our Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Chu leading it off and in right field tonight. Rougned Odor at second. Andrews at shortstop. Adrian Beltre will be the DH batting cleanup. Profar, Joey Gallo, Robinson, Chirinos catching, and then at the bottom of the order, Guzman and center fielder Carlos Tocci. Trevor Cahill has the start for Oakland. 1 win, 2 losses, and a .295 ERA. It's his 11th start of the year. Cahill's first pitch misses for a ball, and now Chu will turn the other one foul. It's 1-1.
Cahill's been very good for the, as you mentioned, start number 11. As you get a look at the Shin-Soo Choo numbers this season. Great year for Chu through his 96 games. The work that Cahill has done, we've talked a lot about the rotation here in Oakland, and there's some opportunities for upgrades. But Cahill has slid in very nicely. And not an overpowering guy. The fastball will average around 92 miles per hour. He's done a good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark. He's 5 home runs allowed so far this season. He's done a very nice job against lefties. You see that? Almost kind of front door changeup at 84 miles an hour. Lefties hitting just 188. And the changeup, no doubt, a big reason for that.
Fouled away, stays 2-2 on Chu, who was hitless yesterday, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. And you know, he really has fallen into a little bit of a funk. 1 for his last 16. 3 walks. Post All-Star break, he's not gone quite as swimmingly for Chu. He works the count full.
Ted Barrett a little tight tonight, would you say?
Yep.
A couple calls we saw against Bartolo, I thought that were close, that Bartolo didn't like. Fox Tracks had that last pitch in the strike zone, and Ted Barrett doesn't really care about Fox Tracks very much, apparently.
In the dirt, there's ball 4, so Chu starts the game with a walk.
So let's take a look at the pitch arsenal here for Trevor Cahill, which is brought to you by Shiner Light Blonde. 2-seam fastball 38% of the time, and it's been a good one for him. Changeup at 27%. He'll throw a cutter. He'll throw a curveball. He will occasionally throw the 4-seam fastball, but Trevor Cahill's done a really nice job of generating some swings and misses on that fastball, which you don't see very often from a 2-seamer. And I mentioned it's not necessarily high-powered velocity. The off-speed pitches have been good. Changeup, it's got a 167 batting average against it. The curveball, 156.
He deals with a base runner now, and Odor at the plate. Rugi fouls this one away. Odor 1 for 3 yesterday with a walk. Drove in a run, stole a base. Great homestand so far for Odor. Let's see what he's done in this series, but on the homestand, 11 for 24 with a homer and a couple of doubles. 7-game hitting streak on the line tonight, and he pounds this one foul. It's 0-2.
Yeah, and he continues to work. You know, the Rangers season obviously not going exactly the way that everybody had hoped, but Rugi's putting the work in. You see what he's done over his last 7. I mean, every day I think I see him out here doing early work on defense. It's not extended work, which is a smart way to do it, but it's consistent, and he's really seeing those dividends pay off as well.
Two-strike pitch, and he stays alive.
I think he's setting a pretty good example too, right? We're starting to see some young players, guys like Willie Calhoun are here now, and Carlos Tocci's getting some playing time. And you know, Rugi obviously is still young, 24 years old, but he's a guy that's locked in with a long-term contract and off to a slow start, but just continued to work and work. And I think it's been a really good example to everybody else in that clubhouse.
This one way in, got him. And he hustles down to first base. That one didn't feel good, but runs it out. So a walk and a hit batter. Good start to this first inning for the Rangers.
It looked like a breaking ball here from Trevor Cahill. Yep, there's a look at the curveball, and We just started this one a little bit too far in. It kept going, and it Rugi, who reacted and then sprinted. He beat Chu. Chu got to second much later than Rugi got to first. Love the reaction, then the sprint.
So a couple of free base runners to start. And now Elvis Andrus. He's showing a bunt and takes a strike. So as tight as that zone is, there's a pitch that's several inches in that gets called.
See if that's going to be the trend tonight. You got a couple of right-handers on the mound, and you wonder if those right-handed hitters, down hasn't been called, but maybe inside a little bit.
Elvis turns this one by third. Backhanded attempt by Chapman. He'll have no play. Everybody's safe. Well, you rarely see a ball give Chapman trouble down at third. All he could do is get his glove on it. It is an infield hit, and so for Andrus, an 8-game hitting streak.
Yeah, we've seen Chapman make some pretty good plays, not just in this series, but throughout his young career. He's an excellent defensive third baseman. You see his pre-pitch routine as he gets down, but this hop just got him in between. Couldn't come up with it cleanly, and the Rangers will take it. Bases loaded without a ball leaving the infield.
Well, the Rangers 17 hits this year with the bases loaded, including one in this series.
Well,
and here is Beltran.
Trevor Cahill.
Yeah.
First plate appearance, or first at bat with the bases loaded this year.
Oh, really? He misses low to Adrian Beltre.
58 innings pitched, and he has not faced a batter with the bases loaded until now. It's like a movie trailer. Trevor Cahill.
We knew that wasn't going to last forever. Here's a guy who has been in this spot on a number of occasions in his career. And Beltre swings through that one. It's 1-1. 10 career grand slams for Beltre. Adrian was 2 for 4 yesterday with a double and an RBI, but hitting below the Mendoza line for the month of July. He's at 194 in his 17 games this month. Hits this one out toward right field. No man's land, drops in, base hit. Chu is in. Odor stopped at third, and it's a one-run game. Beltre drives in the first Rangers run of the night.
Well, nice job here by Adrian Beltre. He caught this ball off the end of the bat a little bit, but he did what he had to do to get this base hit down. There's a good look. The pitch grip looked like a slider slash cutter, down and away. Stephen Piscotty flashed a glove in the air and tried to convince Rougned Odor that maybe he had a chance at it. So Rugi, and Tony Beasley for that matter as well, trying to work the third base coach. And so Rugi did not have an opportunity to score. I don't know if he would have anyway, even with the reaction from Piscotty.
This ball hit hard and foul by Profar. Nice play down there.
It's amazing. Twice this series. For a second I was wondering if it was the same guy. Ear to ear smile right now. Tremendous play.
A strike on Profar. Bases still loaded, nobody out. Odor, Andrus, Beltre from third to first. Oh, and 2.
Perfectly positioned. Good job. You have your second hand there. You don't want that second hand too close. That's a myth. Catch a ball with 2 hands is a myth. You don't want that other hand too close to get in the way. Let me tell you the story about what I just did.
And he just said, you tell Nikowski to get down here and make a better catch. Here's the 0-2. That was, I will say, it was perilously close to missing under the glove.
That could have been a disaster.
Going center mass.
Yep. And that smile would not have been there if that were the case.
But you know what? He made the play. A walk, a hit batter, an infield hit, and then a little flare out over second. Rangers have a run in. And a swing and a miss is the first out of the inning. So Profar strikes out. One away now.
The A's defense this evening is sponsored by Jack in the Box, Nick Martini, Dustin Fowler, and Stephen Piscotty in the outfield for Bob Melvin's ball club, and in the infield, Matt Chapman, Marcus Semien, Jed Lowry, and Matt Olson, with former Ranger Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate.
Well, big Joey Gallo walked yesterday, was 1 for 3, and he takes one outside for a ball. Had a home run Tuesday. In fact, has 3 walks in the last couple of games. That's certainly one thing we have noticed. It's only been about a week, but a little more patience, a little more discipline at the plate, and Cahill asking for some new signs. And with that, seems to be just a tad more comfortable up there. 2-0. Well, there's Odor, was hit by a pitch. He's at third base. Andrews, the infield hit at second, and Beltre drove in the one Rangers run. He's over at first.
Take a look at Joey Gallo's big assist here. We're going to use some StatCast data, which is powered by AWS. This was a lot of fun to watch. You're going to see Joey get behind this ball perfectly and throw it at nearly 99 miles per hour. It's 223 feet. The distance on the throw. It'll be kind of a fun little metric too. How far off line from dead center home plate. As you see the outfield assist for the Rangers. They have the most in Major League Baseball. The Oakland A's 29th on that list. Right, so if you could somehow, which I'm sure they could probably do this pretty easily, dead center of home plate in that situation and measure how far off. Talk about, and that's because that's an important, I think that's a number I'd actually be very interested in. On average, how often are those throws on line? Now they'd have to be throws that go all the way through. You get cut off. Of course, you can't use that one. But that one was pretty accurate. A couple feet maybe. It was a good throw.
Yep, and that's every bit as important as that arm strength. And he does have phenomenal arm strength. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Cahill just misses in. And there's some confusion here. I think Rugi might have been under the impression
he started walking in.
Is it possible that he thought that was ball 4, or is it just that there was nobody near third base and he thought he would test everybody?
I mean, he could walk, I don't know, 3/4 of the way down the line right now and still get back to third base in time.
He could certainly go a good bit further here.
I don't know how Joey Gallo feels about this. This is fantastic. Heads up.
Well, Tapper, right side of the infield. They'll throw out Gallo, but he gets the RBI. Odor scores easily from third, and that ties the game at 2.
Good job by Joey Gallo to get it done. That first career grand slam will have to wait, but it'll be here, I'm sure, before we know it. But that's a good at bat in that spot here in the first inning to tie the game up. I'd be very curious, and I know he wouldn't say it was distracting, but I'm curious for a left-hand hitter like Joey Gallo when he sees Rugi that far down the line, if he even notices.
Well, I think you probably couldn't help but notice.
Yeah.
Looks like he has some respect for the pitches he just saw from Trevor Cahill, who does have some pretty good sink. He has been a really good ground ball pitcher, and in fact his manager Bob Melvin, I thought this was pretty high praise. Said, you know, reminds me a little bit of a pitcher I had in Arizona, Brandon Webb.
Oh man,
who was very good.
Great sinker ball pitcher.
Torino swings and misses. I kind of raised an eyebrow. He's like, stylistically, but there are some similarities. Definitely some similarities, at least in terms of that ability to get ground balls and keep the ball down in the zone. 2-seam fastball, the changeup. Similar repertoire, so
got a similar build to some degree.
Yeah, I kind of thought so too. This one hit well, but foul. Right past Elvis Andrews.
Well, Brandon Webb, if I remember correctly, ran into some arm injuries, some pretty significant ones, but he was filthy when he was healthy.
Now, there was a day where he was about as tough a starter as there was in the National League.
That ground ball rate that you mentioned, by the way, for Cahill this year, 59%. League average is around 43, 44. So well above average for Trevor Cahill.
This ball hit on the ground, third base. Long throw for Chapman, and wow, what a dig down there by Olson. Chapman's great, we know that. Well, we got to tip your cap to Olson on a nice dig as well. But Cahill surrenders a couple of runs. Rangers leave 2 in scoring position. An inning in tonight, and we're tied at 2. And he'll get the bottom 3 hitters in the order for Oakland: Matt Chapman, Jonathan Lucroy, and Dustin Fowler. So I guess both starters, you know, they surrendered the 2 runs, CJ, and both of them go back, look at those innings, and kind of recreate it and say, like, yeah, I mean, I don't think I gave up the worst contact. Maybe didn't get quite the help I wanted defensively, etc. So maybe fair that we just start over here in the second inning.
Kind of like that approach, and it's pretty much how it went down. Some weak contact against Bartolo, walk, hit by pitch for the Rangers when they came up to bat. Of course, Bartolo also hit a batter. It's a little reset here as we go to the top of the second.
Two balls and a strike to Chapman. Now Chapman just made a nice play defensively. And he's been involved in some of the big comebacks. This ball hit well out to left field and gone just enough to get over that wall in left field. For the life of me, I thought it was coming off the top, but it snuck over, and Chapman has his 14th home run of the year. It gives Oakland the 3-2 lead.
He got himself in that 3-1 count, so he could afford to take a big swing if he saw something that he liked. That was apparently the case here against Bartolo Colon. Here's that pitch. Robbie's got the glove down and away. It's a 2-seam fastball, and you see where it ended up. More in the middle of the plate. 104 miles an hour and just 380 feet.
Well, Chapman, who homered in Tuesday's game, homers tonight, and now Cologne will deal with Jonathan Lucroy. Bartolo, the 23rd home run he has allowed this year. The pop up and foul ground. Guzman, what a play. Winning one row into the seats. And that is out number one.
Seen some really good defense from Ronald Guzman this year. You see him look for the wall, make his way over, and then look like that ball moved a little bit on him, and does a nice job. You know, that lower wall, you're kind of caught in between whether or not you're going to catch the padding or the brick. The fans there to help him out.
So with one out, here is Dustin Fowler. First we have seen of Fowler in this series. He did play in the Bay Bridge series, which Oakland had with San Francisco right before coming to Texas. Pops this one up out into left field. Gallo in several steps, and there are two out. Hey, Saturday, August 4th, Rangers and Orioles get together. It will be a 7:05 first pitch. The first 15,000 fans get a Vladimir Guerrero Hall of Fame bobblehead, courtesy of Allstate. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Nick Martini takes a strike. Martini was hit by a pitch back in the first inning. We have seen him as a late inning replacement for Oakland the last couple of nights. Tuesday, in fact, came in as a pinch hitter. Went 2 for 2 in Tuesday's game. .292 average for Martini. His on base percentage though is at .414 coming in.
Like, you know, we've seen him a little bit, and you know, always guessing sometimes, trying to get some reads when you're watching a game, but looks like a kind of a serious guy. Nick Martini's been my impression so far, which makes me believe he's got zero interest in any of our Martini puns or jokes to try to mix it in there. No pun intended there. Right? Get that impression from watching?
No, I definitely. This ball hit out center field, base hit. So Martini on for a second time. But you have to imagine, whether you're good humored or not, you get tired of it. The last name jokes following you around every day of your life. Well, with one out, rather two outs, a man on. Here is Marcus Semien. I'm Dave Raymond with the Big Lebowski. Here's first pitch to Semien. Snap though down to first, and Martini back in there easily.
So obviously you don't have this issue. It was an easy last name to pronounce.
Right.
Mine, not so much. Checked out of my hotel today, and she says to me, and she's checking Mr. Nikowitzki. I was like, yeah, that's it. I don't even bother correcting
nailed it.
people anymore. I think that's fine.
So it's very common for you.
Oh yeah. Well, you get the people that really work hard to try to sound it out, which you can appreciate, and you're going to get it wrong sometimes, and that's fine. And then you get the people that put absolutely zero effort in. And I kind of get it. It can be a little bit intimidating.
So when you see guys called up to the big leagues, you know, the Mark Zepchenskis or the Grzelanics of the world.
Federovich. Tough one for me.
But are you sympathetic? Do you take extra effort to make sure that you really get to the bottom of all that?
There will be no extra effort. Okay. Man, let's be very clear about that. No, I don't want to embarrass myself. We're supposed to be professional broadcasters and get those names right. But no, a little bit. I more like to see about how long it takes me before I can spell the name without looking.
Well, sometimes I'll get a little hot streak on some of those names, but then you don't see them for a month, and I'm back to zero again. Bouncer by Cologne, 1-2 the count on Simeon. First time Zepchinski checks into a series. You know, got to double check it a few times. By the end of the series, man, I got it nailed. And as of today, probably a 30% shot I get that right. Maybe.
I had a really hard time with Narvaez, the White Sox. I just wanted to be Narvaez.
Sure.
Could not get my brain to go there.
Kind of say 1-2.
Every once in a while I'll get a Nowitzki. You know, it's like some confusion from some folks. I had a lady one time, she's like, "Oh, I just saw you on TV the other day." This was like a few years ago. And I'm like, "I know, I hadn't been on TV doing anything." And she was convinced. And I was like, "All right, if you want me to be that guy, I'll be that guy if you want it. That's be a good guy to be."
Maybe she thought you were Dog the Bounty Hunter. There's a little flip to second to force out Martini. The inning is done. A home run by Chapman, though, has put Oakland back in front 3-2 as we played an inning and a half tonight. Nadell, 40th anniversary microphone courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Kroger. Tickets can be acquired at TexasRangers.com or by phoning 972 Rangers. Guzman leads things off here in the second.
Now, do you see what I see in this picture?
No.
A bobblehead looking at a computer screen right there in the middle.
Looks like it. Yep. Well, out to right center field. Base hit for Guzman. He lumbers towards second, and he will stop there with a leadoff double.
Trevor Cahill's only like 30, isn't he? Yeah, he's 30 years old. Maybe he's talking about something else. Ronald Guzman here against Trevor Cahill. Gets an off-speed pitch down and away, but does a good job of hooking this thing into the right center field gap. There's the good extension from Guzman. Watch him catch his ball out front. Really finish that swing right through it as he drills the gap. It looked like he had some thoughts right about there about a triple, but thought better of it.
I wonder if they were trying to go somewhere with Condor, like the Condor Raptor, which is a old dinosaur of some sort. Who knows where those two were going? This one bunted foul by Tochi. Tochi batting ninth and in center field tonight. Three for 8 in this series, though. Tochi has actually handled himself pretty well at the plate. Shows bunt again, drops it third base side. It's a pretty good third baseman over there, though, and Chapman throws him out. Guzman moves to third. Well, 5-4 put out on the, I'm guessing, sacrifice. Indeed.
Oh, 100%. So if you get with one out, you're certainly going to get one here with no outs. I mentioned this last night. I think it's important for Carlos Tocci to do these little things right, and he does. When you got a runner at second base and you're trying to bunt him over, you want a hard bunt to third base, make the third baseman field that ball so that your runner can get to third pretty easily, and that's exactly what Carlos Tocci did. So nice job on that sacrifice bunt.
Well, the infield mostly in with Chu at the plate, and yet still a pretty good shift. So it makes for a difficult job over there for Chapman at third base. He has to stay close enough to keep Guzman near the bag. But then the three other infielders on the opposite side of second base. 1-1 to Shin-Soo Choo.
And so not surprising to see Trevor Cahill either work Chu in because of the opportunities that are on the left side, or you might see that changeup too. And even if it's away, the idea there is that you get that hitter out front and he can't help but hit a ground ball to the right side or pop it up in the air.
Two and one. This is interesting. Looking at the shift on the right side there, you see Semien closer to the second base bag at short, and Lowry between short and first, or at least the shortstop and first baseman, because so often they have put Lowry, or kept Lowry in his normal spot and moved Semien between the two when he's out on the grass out there. And I'm guessing that has a lot to do with range.
Yep.
And the ability of Semien to move around maybe a little bit better than Lowry.
Because the times that we've seen Semien out there, it's been deeper in the outfield, right? And so there's probably been more room. And then it's also the tendency of the hitter and what they think. You know, obviously they're all to that side because they think, okay, that side. But even more so, do they believe it's a better chance that it's going to go to short right field and a ground ball as opposed to maybe up the middle, where I think with Chu, there's a better chance of him hitting the ball maybe up the middle. If you look at, you know, if you break the infield up, say, into fives, up the middle would probably be a likely spot for Chu. As you see Cole Hamels talking with Doug Brocail.
Well, this ball right by third and into left field. That's a base hit. Guzman is in. Chu delivers the RBI single with a little half swing punch job. And that ties the game at 3.
I think that's kind of par for the course this evening because we've seen some weak contact, but this is a good at-bat. Two-seam fastball, front door, two-seam fastball. You see that thing starting. This is an excellent job by Chu to fight this off and turn it into a base hit, understanding the shift and doing everything he can to try to hit that open hole on the left side. That was not easy to do against that pitch.
So a new game and Odor at the plate. And the pitch upstairs for a ball. Odor was hit by a pitch in the first.
So people might be wondering why we showed Cole Hamels in the dugout. I'll only tell you that we don't report on rumors. I want to check your local internet machine. Nothing official from the ball club as we get closer to the trade deadline.
Bouncer down to first. Olsen goes to second. The return in time. Boy, 3-6-3, and that one really well turned.
It was close
to win the inning.
Well, Jeff Bannister's standing out. They're standing out. They're thinking about, nope, they are not going to challenge him. Get you one look at this right here. It was pretty close, but no, in the glove before Rougned Odor can get there. But the Rangers are able to add one thanks to Shin-Soo Choo.
Chatting with the boys down in the dugout, and as CJ referenced, some rumors circulating that a deal is apparently in place. Now, nothing official yet from the ball club. Is Chu back to the wall on this fly ball, and he makes the catch right at the fence. Jed Lowry just missed getting that one out, one away. And Bartolo, yeah, well, that's what I was trying to do.
Using every inch of the field. Good job here by Chu to time this right. See that hand out there trying to feel for the wall. He realized he had enough room, and it's important for Chu to prove that he can play defense still, and that's a very nice play. You can't be disappointed, because had that gone out, that would have been a pretty cheap home run. Right?
I don't know about cheap.
I mean, we've seen a lot of balls flying. Get up in the air.
Yeah.
This homestand, and the ball is certainly carrying pretty well.
And that's nothing new this week for this series. This ballpark has played very hitter friendly all year. Look at the numbers, and that will bear out regardless at this point, I believe, whatever source you use for that. The park factors, and they show Globe Life Park as being one of the most hitter friendly, if not the most hitter friendly park in baseball this year. And there's a strike. 2-1 to Davis.
What do you think the better way to test that is? I wonder about that sometimes, because year to year, of course, your pitching staff has something to do with that. If you just do it based on the amount of home runs, it might be a little bit misleading, right? If it's a year where you have a staff that's scuffling a little bit, whatever it may be. I'm not talking Rangers specific, just in general. I'd like to get like the Mythbusters out here or something. Well, to measure some stuff for us.
Well, here's the thing, though, right? I mean, it's the pitching, but it's also the hitting, right? I mean, if you've got a team that mashes,
yeah,
putting up huge numbers at home, that would affect it. I say that not fully understanding exactly how they calculate park factor. I mean, I don't know. Maybe all that's actually calculated in there somehow.
Think there's a barometer involved?
Yeah, there might be a barometer, but probably not. This guy could tell you a thing or two about the park factors here. Davis seemed to have figured it out pretty well as he takes a strike, and he is down looking. And that's the kind of pitch that Bartolo Colon needs, but when he gets that pitch, well, I mean, you have no shot.
Perfectly located here. Watch Robinson Chirinos' glove. He could have caught that with his eyes closed. That backdoor two-seamer starts off the plate, and just at the end, the late movement of Bartolo Colon, it catches the corner. It's a really fun pitch to watch.
Well, the very next pitch, Olsen pops it up into short right field. Chu will put it away. So 1-2-3, top of the third, only 8 pitches needed. We'll head to the bottom of the third inning, all even at 3. Bottom of the third inning. Trevor Cahill. We'll see the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Rangers. Elvis Andrus leading things off. All square at 3 tonight. And Andrus checks up his swing. Watching ball 1.
Interesting reaction there from Jonathan Lucroy. I wonder if there was a cross-up of signals. Now, I haven't been watching as closely, but remember we saw the A's. We got into that a little bit the other night where they were using multiple signs with no one on base. So the idea of getting crossed up first pitch of an inning with nobody on second base is kind of odd. But yeah, there goes Jonathan Lucroy, multiple signs, and certainly expecting something else right there.
1-0 pitch. Elvis out in front pops this one up right near second base. Lowry is there. So 1 year ago on this day, CJ, Adrian Beltre made history. Kind of. Remember this? Late the ball game. Get back to the on deck circle, Adrian. Adrian said, all right, how about this? I'll just move the on deck circle over here. Oh, one of the all-time great moments. Ejected, sadly.
I don't think that's in the official rule book that you're not allowed to move the on-deck circle. Maybe it is now.
No, never seen that one written up.
No.
And that was a fun one. One of those late moment in a game kind of situations where you're like, oh, I'm glad I stuck around for that. Never forget it.
I mean, everything about that was strange. One, you never see an umpire give a player a hard time for not being on the on-deck circle. And then, of course, the genius of Adrian Beltre. It's okay, well, this is where I want to stand, so I guess I'll just move the circle over here. Now, as I say that, there's Jurickson Profar being a good soldier and standing right on the on-deck circle.
Hard ground ball to shortstop, and Simeon throws out Beltre. 2 away. That was Jerry Davis, the umpire, who tossed him that night. Hey, let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, it is Sandlot night here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, and the gang's all here. We've got some very worthy Progressive fans of the game. Tell me the story.
Well, my birthday is Saturday, and The Sandlot's my favorite baseball movie, so we decided to dress up for my birthday and come all out. So the gang's all here.
Gang is all here, and I'm going to give you this and tell you, of course, you're killing me, Smalls. Guys.
Was that Woody Peppercorn right next to her there?
I believe it was, yeah. 25 years ago, right? Is this the 25th?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah. Benny the Jet.
So you were what, 16, 17 when that came out? Right, how's my math? I was just thinking about Wendy. You went pretty quick to old Wendy Peppercorn. Favorite years as a teenager?
That was such a great scene.
Yeah, it was. It is 25th, right? Or is it 30th? I think it's 25th.
I don't know. You're throwing a lot of numbers at me there.
It's not even analytics night.
I do know it's some anniversary, though, right?
Yeah. It was a big deal. Fox Home Entertainment celebrating, 25 years ago this year.
Well, ground out to second base, and Cahill answers Bartolo Colon with an 8-pitch inning of his own. So we go to the 4th inning, tied at 3. by GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer today. So we advance this thing along to the 4th inning, still tied at 3. And a nice Thursday evening here, final day of this homestand, the first homestand after the All-Star break. Rangers will be hitting the road after this one tonight. Stephen Piscotty leading off the 4th for Oakland. Rangers are off to Houston. They'll play the Astros for the final time this year. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the last series between the in-division rivals in 2018. This ball hammered foul.
Think Alex Bregman will still be mad when we get there?
Yes, I do. He was very upset about a play last night. At tomorrow's game, we'll have the pregame starting at 6:30 here on Fox Sports Southwest. 5:30, an hour earlier on Saturday. Sunday, a day game. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Piscotty strikes out and quickly in this 4th inning. Well, Wednesday, August 8th will be the next Texas Chili Company Dollar Hot Dog Day. Rangers and Mariners, a 105 game. And it's TexasRangers.com for the tickets, or 972 Rangers. Little sunshine, a little baseball. Some $1 hot dogs. Matt Chapman, homer to the 2nd inning. And he takes a strike. Chapman has been batting near the bottom of the order most recently for Oakland. And Bob Melvin, no sense in really messing with what's working. This is a team that is on some kind of run lately. They've gone 26-7 since June 16th. That's the best record in baseball over that span. Very much have put themselves now in the wild card conversation in the American League, which was previously just assumed to be going to the Yankees and Seattle. There you see some of the numbers during that stretch, just ridiculous. This one pop foul back out of play. But really, part of the story, I think, for Oakland is not so much that they might be able to catch Seattle, a game and a half back of the Mariners. Some suggesting, hey, they could maybe catch the Yankees, and that's very much the case. But Bob Melvin has his eyes set on the Houston Astros. He says, look, 6.5 out of first place in the division. And the division, of course, much more valuable to win that than to simply win a wild card. And the way they're playing right now, why not? Go for it. 2-2. Win the count full on Chapman. You look at the division standings, the American League West. Amazing. Seattle 5 back. And Seattle, I don't know exactly how they've done it really. When you look at some of the peripheral numbers, you wonder, you know, are they just very fortunate right now to have the record they have, 20 games over 500? Chapman draws a walk.
Well, they've been good in close games, right? That's always an important one. You always wonder, will that be able to hold? And so if you don't have a roster that's dominating in a couple of areas, at least, you know, real strongly offensively, starting pitching. The bullpen's been good. Diaz has been unbelievable at the back end of that bullpen this year, and they did a nice job of picking up Alex Colomé early. Can't even call it trade season. They got him, what, late April, early May? So the bullpen has been strong, and that's why they've been able to put up some wins in those one-run games. It's one of those deals you wonder, will it last? Or can it last the entire year? The Astros are going to be tough to catch, no two ways about it. You start looking at the wild card, you feel pretty comfortable that one of the teams is going to be coming out of the American League East. Everyone else fighting for that second spot. You never know what's going to happen, but it does feel like that's where we're headed.
Listen, New York's a really good team, right? You know, Boston's starting to separate themselves a little bit, and I don't know that it's a guarantee that the Yankees get in. What, you know, you could certainly see a Seattle-Oakland wild card emergence. So you see the East standings. The Yankees 5.5 back now of Boston.
So Oakland, I guess, is 5.5 back of the Yankees, essentially. Right, they're a game and a half out. Mariners, could they catch the Yankees? That'd be a pretty tough one, because then there's a pretty big drop off after that. The Tampa Bay Rays are 9 back in the wild card. So really, right now, it looks like you're only looking at Seattle and Oakland, one of those teams getting it. Could the Yankees falter? It's possible. Sounds like they got J Happ. They just picked up Zach Britton, so they've added.
Runner going. This one hit high in the air out to center field. Tochi finds it. 2 away. Let's take a moment now and hear from the good folks over at Southwest Kia.
At Southwest Kia, we've made car buying easy. $250 down delivers, monthly payments $250 a month or less. SouthwestKia.com.
2 away. Chapman stays at first, and here is Dustin Fowler now. When you look at Oakland, they just made a move to get Luis Familia and add him to their bullpen, and that's a nice pickup. And their bullpen already very good, got a little stronger. It's pretty easy to see that if you wanted to improve this Oakland team, you would want to add depth to the rotation, and probably a good right-hander, especially if you start thinking about maybe a wild card matchup against the New York Yankees in New York. Well, you prefer to have a right-hander be able to start that game than a lefty. You could also look at the idea of maybe an outfielder, specifically a center fielder for Oakland, as we look at their center fielder tonight, Dustin Fowler. And I want to say kind of amused this morning, but it's not funny at all for Washington Nationals fans. The way things have gone, the conversation today seemed to be pretty intense about the idea of maybe it's time for them to dump here at the trade deadline in Washington and see if they can get some real value for a guy like Bryce Harper. Well, what about putting Bryce Harper in an A's uniform? That would get real interesting.
Yeah, it would. I guess the question becomes how interested the A's would be in giving up the pieces that it would take. They're a team that's always kind of built around prospects, not giving up young talent. So that's the challenge there for them. But, you know, I say this a lot. There becomes a time in your rebuild that you got to take a chance, that you have to get out of your comfort zone. And if you look at all the last World Series winners, they all did it. At one point, they strayed from that plan. They had been disciplined for a long time, and then they went out and did something a little crazy.
Well, Fowler keeps that one just inside the line, down into the right field corner. Chapman into third. They'll wave him to the plate. He scores easily. Into third base is Fowler. RBI triple gives Oakland the 4-3 lead.
Just inside the line here off the bat of Fowler. Watch Ronald Guzman. Ball was just hit so hard. You see the frustration on his part. And first baseman will tell you anytime they're holding a run around, they never expect a ball to get between them and the line. That's why you saw the reaction. This ball stayed down there a little bit, didn't come off the wall very far at all, and so that allowed Fowler to go to third and Chapman to score easily.
So still a man at third base, and Martini shaking his head at that strike one call.
So to finish it up real quick, think about the Kansas City Royals. They gave up Will Myers for James Shields. They got hammered when they did that, right? But that kind of changed the tempo, and not the tempo, but kind of the attitude surrounding the organization. Chicago Cubs gave up Gleyber Torres to get Aroldis Chapman, something that people thought they were crazy to do. They got their World Series. It doesn't matter. The Astros went out and signed 3 veterans 2 off seasons ago, right? Brian McCann, Josh Reddick, bringing guys in, and then traded for Justin Verlander. That's not what they were doing until they got to that one point where they decided to get really bold, and it's paid off for all of them. Carlos Beltran was in that as well with the Astros. That's not part of a rebuilding plan. That's okay. Let's go ahead and take a chance here and get out of our comfort zone and do something we might normally not do. Certainly something they didn't plan out. I mean, the one with the Royals, the reaction, the national reaction to them trading Will Myers for James Shields. I mean, they got crushed for it. That changed the entire attitude. That was their moment. We're not rebuilding anymore. Now we're ready to win. And so, as you mentioned, Bryce Harper, which is, you know, a dream scenario probably for A's fans that love that idea, although they need some starting pitching help too. I don't know if they're willing to necessarily take the plunge, but I do think you get to that point as an organization as you go through a rebuild. Then you got to get uncomfortable and you got to get bold.
I think the priority would have to be starting pitching for them. That one just missed. Full count now on Martini. Bob Melvin loves this guy, Bartolo Colon. Loves it. Now Bart, a different pitcher than his earlier days when he was with Melvin. But we have seen this year still very much an ability to get outs and to compete. Martini hits this one high in the air. Out to right center field, and that one is off the fence and then blasts past Tochi. Martini heads to third base, and they will hold him there. Back-to-back RBI triples for Oakland, and it's now a 5-3 lead.
A part of this turning into a triple, the first for Nick Martini, was the way that the outfield was situated. This ball was well hit. Good look at the fastball grip. Elevated more than Bartolo originally wanted it to be. But look where Carlos Tochi is, and look how far he has to run. And he's going full speed. I think right here he's thinking, he realizes the ball's going to stay in the park, so he goes hard right off the top of the wall. And then it takes a big bounce right past him. But that's because he had to kind of turn on the jets to try to get close to the wall to have a shot to field that ball and shoot. The right fielder is the one that ended up picking it up.
Marcus Semien shoots it foul out of play. All for 2 so far. Hayes with a couple of runs in the first, another in the second, and now 2 runs here in the 4th inning.
Mentioned Melvin liking Bartolo. Bartolo's pitched well against the A's in a couple of starts. This one obviously not as strong.
That base hit by Semien. It's Martini to the plate. It's now 6-3 Oakland.
Did you get the impression that he might be interested in having him in an A's uniform again, or was it just more reminiscing?
No, I'm just yeah, it was reminiscing. That was Monday, I guess, Monday afternoon. We had that conversation, and it was not, really wasn't even posed in that context of, you know, who they might be looking for, would they even be looking for. But if you look at Oakland, you would think, well, right-hander, that would be a need, and start poking around and considering where that might come from in the trade market, and that's where it gets kind of challenging. Where can they go to get a good right-hander that's not going to break the bank per se? We'll check in on Semien over there at first. He does have 10 stolen bases this year. There is a long way to go in this season. And we have just slid past the 100 game mark, and you say to yourself, well, that's a lot of games. It is, but there are almost 60 games remaining in the regular season, and so a lot can happen. Health is going to be a big factor still for so many teams. Andrews picks up the ground ball, throws out Jed Lowry, and the inning is done. But a 3-run 4th inning for Oakland. They break the tie and now lead it 6-3. Your friends at Jack Daniels remind you to drink responsibly. Bottom of the fourth inning, Rangers trail by 3. Joey Gallo will lead things off here. Gallo, Chirinos, Ronald Guzman. 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors tonight for Oakland. 3 runs, 4 hits, and 2 errors for the Rangers. Gallo drove in a run in the first inning with an RBI ground out. See the average below 190 now for Joey, but 25 homers, 56 RBIs. And he hits this ball up the middle. That's a base hit. He has multiple singles in this series.
Joey Gallo will take that base hit. We talk a lot about the singles versus the home runs. This is a changeup with some pretty good late movement. Nice job by Joey Gallo to stay on it. Love his reaction. He was concerned that Cahill was going to catch it. He was yelling at the baseball. It was going back up the middle. His reactions are something else. I mean, they're natural. They are pretty unique.
My guess is it playing poker with him.
Easy read. Deal him a couple aces, eyes get huge.
Chirinos
tries not to talk but can't help himself.
Yeah, his tells would be probably pretty quick to reveal themselves. Cahill certainly aware of Gallo over at first base. Took a couple looks over there, but eventually delivering in the dirt. 2-0, so a good hitter's count now for Chirinos, who had a home run yesterday, a 3-run shot. And in fact, on his homestand, a couple of home runs.
I was thinking Bunn hit there too, and that wasn't a sacrifice because Chapman was all the way back.
Off the plate, 3-0. Cahill started the game by issuing a walk to Chu, and then he hit Odor. Both scored in that first inning. And he's on the verge of giving the Rangers another free base runner here. It's a strike, 3-1. Well, it skips away, ball 4. So a base hit, a walk. Gallo thinking about being aggressive out there. Near opportunity.
Well, it's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. And with Guzman coming up, we're going to show you this really nice play that he made up against the wall, that pop out. Did a nice job there. You see the reaction, and then the big double. Drills that ball into right center field. Change up from Trevor Cahill. Ronald Guzman, definitely built for baseball. He might be built for a little basketball too.
Yes, he is. Definitely is.
Totally see him swatting your jump shot into the stands.
Talking about mine,
yeah.
Personally, I don't see that.
Yeah. You head fake right by him.
So listen, leave your feet, and I
Drop
got your
step.
feet.
Yeah. Drop step.
Little runner, little teardrop. Listen, man, I got more than one weapon in that bag. Little Euro step. Guzman goes after the first offering down to the dirt.
You started on the peach basket, right? You guys. Who you shoot around on?
Dr. Naismith and I used to go around and shoot it around a little bit, yeah. Think about Guzman, he's got that big reach. So coveted now. 0-2 to Guzman, who doubled in the second inning. Well, the Rangers 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position tonight. Pretty good. Good spot. Good opportunity for Guzman here. That's off the plate. So Gallo and Chirinos out of the bases. Cahill approaching 60 pitches for the night. It's funny the similarity to Brandon Webb in appearance. Swing and a miss, and Guzman strikes out, 1 away. You might have heard about this. If not, here's a great reminder. Sunday, August 5th. Circle that date on your calendar. The Rangers and Orioles. It's a 2:05 game. The first 15,000 fans are going to get a Ted Williams First Rangers manager bobblehead, courtesy of Sweet Baby Ray's. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Should be a good one. Carlos Tocci had a sacrifice in the second inning. Tocci getting some regular time now with Delano DeShields optioned out to Round Rock to work on his game, get back to the kind of productive hitter and defender that we know Delano can be. Tocci in the interim, well, the second half has been pretty good to him. 4 for 11. He hits this ball out to center field, and it's caught by Fowler. 2 away.
Good rip by Carlos Tocci. We haven't seen too many of those from him, and I think that's the swing that Jeff Bannister has talked about, that he believes Carlos Tocci has, the kind of contact that could be available. And there's the cutter from Trevor Cahill. Didn't do very much. It sat in the middle of the plate. This ball was drilled. Nice swing right here from Carlos Tocci. But unfortunately, right at Martini. I mean Fowler.
Well, here's Chu. And it's going to be up to him if the Rangers are going to get anything out of this inning. Get 2 men on, nobody out. You want to cash in at least 1. Down by 3. You have to get it all back at once. Still plenty of time in this one. Chu has walked and singled. Ball and 1 strike. Now Cahill, 30 years old now, and he's a guy like Edwin Jackson who has been added to the mix in Oakland and has made a pretty profound difference. Originally an Oakland selection in the 2nd round in 2006 out of high school. Made his big league debut 3 years later at the age of 21. Moved around a little bit since then. To the World Series with the Cubs. A couple of years, his early years in the A's organization, where he was regarded very much as a top prospect, and a couple of times named their organizational pitcher of the year. Gets ahead of Chu, a ball and 2 strikes.
Changeup's really good. I mentioned Trevor Cahill has been very good against lefties this year. Came into tonight with a 188 batting average against, and the reason is because of the changeup. How about this though? He has a 46% whiff rate on that changeup. So that means nearly half the times that hitters swing at his changeup, they miss it. That's a big number at 46%. The average big league changeup is swung on and missed about 31% of the time. But it has got some pretty unbelievable depth to it.
Well, it's 2-2 inside, and it's a full count now on Chu.
Do you think that players, we celebrate and keep track of everything. Carlos Tocci lined out, right? That lineup we saw to center, hit it 101 miles per hour. Right? First time he's hit a ball in triple digits. Celebrate it?
No.
It's the hardest ball he's hit so far in the big leagues. It's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think he'll know?
Probably not.
Runners go, 3-2 pitch, and a swing and a miss, strike 3. So Chu is out. Inning is over. Rangers leave a pair. We go to the 5th inning. A's lead at 6-3. Blonde, it's light, done right. Now this you're going to find hard to believe. Our TXU Energy Power player to watch is Chris Davis. First A's player with 24 or more home runs against one opponent over a 3-year span. Since Double X Jimmy Fox back in the early 30s when he did it against the Tigers. That is what you call good company. High fly ball out to right field. Chu lost it for a moment, but able to get to it. One away. Now Matt Olson. Olson is struck out and flied out. I'll say that Chu may have lost that for a moment. You look up at the sky, and this is a really difficult time. Twilight, where it's not quite pitch black out up there. It's not gray either. It's just sort of that slate blue or something. What would you call that?
Yeah, it looks a lot nicer on television. That's a nice blue right there. I don't know. Yeah, slate's a good. It's a bluish gray.
Ooh, look at that.
Kind of battle the moon sometimes, depending on where the pop-up is.
It's peeking up over some cloud cover or something there. Hello. Olson gets this one straight up in the air to center field. Tocci, yeah, look at that. I mean, he might have had a little trouble there for a moment.
Yeah.
You see the relief on his face. Yeah, okay. 2 away.
So it's really important for the outfielders to help each other out, and the infielders for that matter, as far as pointing to these balls, knowing is look at Elvis Andrus. He understands that. He knows what it's like right now to look up in that sky and how difficult it can be. See, look at that, hands up. Where is it? Elvis was letting him know, and he pick it back up again. It's tricky.
Piscotty aggressive and bounces out to short. A 1-2-3 fifth inning for Bartolo Colon. Got a couple of these efficient innings tonight, and that one's going to help him quite a bit. Halfway there, 6-3 A's. Inning against Trevor Cahill. Our Kubota power stats today. How about the launch angle allowed? The average launch angle against Trevor Cahill, not even 4 degrees, which tells you that he gets a lot of ground balls.
6 of them so far tonight. You see it right there. Marcus Stroman, negative 0.1. It's kind of cool to try to have a season where you get in the negatives. I mean, it's a good sign as far as, you know, home runs, keeping the ball on the ground, all that working in your favor. There actually were some rumblings today about Marcus Stroman. I don't think he'll be on the move, but the Atlanta Braves have inquired about maybe his availability. But I like that number. What it does, a lot of these newer numbers, and we say, well, launch angle, I'm kind of, you know, hit or miss on it, especially for hitters. I don't care as much, but it is interesting for pitchers. We can look at fly ball percentage, we can look at ground ball percentage, but this is another way of kind of digging in on how a guy's doing as far as keeping the ball on the ground, getting hitters to hit the top half of the ball, keeping it out of the air as much as possible. You see Trevor Cahill right there, got a little frustrated with Elvis Andrus.
Huh.
Yeah. And part of it was Elvis stepped out, took a little bit of time. Going to try to break some rhythm right now. Been a couple of shutout innings for Trevor Cahill. He works quickly. Him and Bartolo Colon almost identical pace as far as that stat. We talk about it. At least I do. 21.7 for Cahill this year. 21.9 for Bartolo. You know Bartolo moves quickly. Cahill likes to as well. Elvis was trying to break up his rhythm, and he didn't appreciate it too much.
Well, then on the next pitch, he showed bunt. Tried to put a little panic in him, which I like. Bart working on that gum. Big part of his game every time he pitches. 3-1.
It's absolutely amazing, right? When you look at him, 45 years old. Just cruising along, slow heartbeat.
Full count now on Andrus. What were we saying the other day? There are 15 ballparks that are no more.
Yeah.
That he has started a game in his career. And he has made a start in all 30 current major league ballparks, so 45 total, plus the Tokyo Dome.
Did he head for a slide? I missed it earlier. A little dirt on the
I don't know where that
right
came
sleeve.
from.
Maybe somebody, Somebody with dirty hands came over. Nice job.
That might be it. Because I do not remember any head first slide. No. Breaking ball. And Andrews takes off the plate. So there's a walk. Rangers have a base runner here with one out. We have time for a Chevy game break and say hello to Dana Larson.
So that's pretty interesting. Didi Gregorius, remember the conversations we were having about him in April? He had 10 home runs the first month of the season and really has hit the brakes since then. I think he's had 7, make it 8 now over the last 3 months. It was like, wow, he's on pace for 61. Maybe he's going to be the MVP. And he's like, I'm not really a home run hitter. And he's kind of proving that now. 25 last year, though, was a career high for him. And I think it's 18 now, so certainly on pace to be right around that 25 or just over this year.
Good toss over to first. Well, meanwhile, news today from New York. Aaron Judge left the game after being hit on the wrist with a pitch. Well, and Duhar replaced him in the lineup. So that's, who knows, might be nothing. He might be in there tomorrow.
No, but that's worth discussing, though, or at least for teams contenders right now. You get past this July 31st deadline, acquiring players is a difficult thing to do. And so if you're not comfortable with your depth, not a bad idea to try to go out and get a piece. There might be some smaller trades that happen just to protect yourselves against something like an Aaron Judge going down. You can't replace him, but are you comfortable with your replacements? If you lose a starter, are you comfortable?
Line drive to center field. That one gets past Fowler. Andrews will head to third base. Beltre with 2 hits tonight, and the Rangers have him on the corners here in the 5th.
Well, this one hit significantly harder than the Adrian Beltre RBI single that we saw in the first inning. That was a changeup that he caught off the end of the bat and hit the other way. This was a good fastball right down the middle that he hit back even more firm than it came in. And you see Fowler coming in trying to make that play. Luckily, he got a glove on it. Otherwise, that would have been extra bases and a run. Watch it right here. Some short hops. Fowler, if he misses that ball, decent chance that might have made it to the wall.
Fowler, I mean, if Fowler goes diving for that thing, then who knows?
You're not thinking inside the Parker for AB.
No, I'm thinking triple. Still, the run would have scored anyway. Profar 0 for 2. And he takes a little bit up. So I guess going back to our earlier conversation, that's why if I had a bet, I would wager on the Yankees surviving and getting into the postseason. Regardless the news tonight. But I do think if Oakland's able to sustain what they're doing, certainly they could be caught. Profar lines this one out to right center. That's going to roll for extra bases. Andrus is in. They're going to wave Beltre. He comes to the plate. Into third with a 2-run triple. It's Jurickson Profar. It's a 1-run game, and the tying run is 90 feet away.
Talk a lot about Jurickson Profar, the slugging that he has done this year, the extra base hits. This is a nice at-bat, 2-seam fastball. Was supposed to be on the corner, caught a little bit too much plate. And he squares it up and hits his ball to right center field. You're instantly thinking triple. Watch Tony Beasley, though, because he's got to first tell Adrian Beltre to score. Then he's got to get in here and let Jurickson Profar know that he's got to get down and stay on the bag. Nice job there by the Rangers third base coach, and a very nice job by that man right there, Jurickson Profar, to drive in a couple and make it a 1-run game.
His 5th triple of the season. Gallo lifts this one a mile in the air. With very shallow left field, Martini able to get to it. 2 down, and the throw dropped near the mound, but no harm done. So not deep enough to get Profar in.
The catcher, Robinson.
We up to Robinson Chirinos.
We got 3 triples in this game so far.
Yeah. 2 by the A's. In fact, back to back by the A's. And now Profar.
Most exciting play? Like, I mean, if it's a big home run, you know, it's pretty exciting. We're not going to do any better than that. Joey Gallo over the Hyundai Club, that kind of stuff. But what's so fun about the triple is the momentum, right? You're not quite sure off the bat the way it builds up, especially in a big moment like there. Drive a couple in. It's in the top 2 or 3 most exciting plays in baseball.
Yeah, I think so. You know, and I think, as you say, it's sort of the build, right? Because so many plays in baseball are less than, what, 3 seconds in length? Right? A beautifully executed squeeze bunt takes, I don't know, 2 seconds, 3. I mean, it's just done. This ball hit high in the air, down the left field line. Heading foul and down a play. So our Southwest Airlines bullpen live look. Emilio Pagan started to throw out of the bullpen for Oakland. Cahill not quite at 85 pitches for the night, but it's the score of the game, the effectiveness. Tying run at third, and Chirinos waiting on a 1-1. Here it comes.
You mentioned that this was Cahill's 11th start of the season. He has only gone above 100 pitches once, and that was 102 pitches back on May 22nd, in which he threw 7 innings. The 5 runs that he has allowed tonight is a season high for him. So as Bob Melvin sees his right-hander working pretty hard and letting up some hard contact, it caused him to get on the phone and get somebody up in that bullpen.
Swing and a miss. That'll even the count at 2-2. A walk, a single, a triple. 2 runs across. A great chance to add another here. It's been a fun game, back and forth, these 2 teams. Cahill steps away, as does Chirinos. Infield back, outfield straight away. And Chirinos chases one in the dirt. They'll have to throw him out at first base. They do. The inning is over. That strikeout concludes it, but 2 runs score. Profar bringing both runs home. A triple just to the right of center field, and he's made it a 1-run game. a 2:05 game, and country music group Lone Star will perform a post-game concert presented by Budweiser, and your tickets are available at texasrangers.com/concerts. Five innings down. Cologne out for a sixth. Pitch count at 76 tonight for Bartolo, so still plenty of room for him to run. But Chapman knocks this one sharply up the middle for a base hit. Chapman looking for two. He'll have that easily. Now he's going to turn and head for three. And here comes a relay throw, and it gets past Profar. And that is a leadoff triple for Matt Chapman. And for Chapman, his first triple of the year.
Make it 4 on the night now in this game. This ball was hit pretty hard. First pitch fastball, two-seamer from Bartolo Colon, and probably thinking about just trying to get ahead. Ball went all the way to the wall, died a little bit when it got there, and there's nothing the Rangers could do about it. I mean, it would have taken an absolutely perfect throw to even have a shot at getting Chapman. That probably wouldn't have gotten it done either.
Stand corrected, his fourth triple of the year. So he's 90 feet away now for Jonathan Lucroy. That was the 50th hit of the series for Oakland. 50th.
Thanks.
Lucroy is 0 for 2. He has popped up and flied out. Infield is in tight, and this one popped up near first base again. Guzman able to stride over there and make the play. So one out. It only takes him like 2 or 3 steps to get to the dugout. Awesome to watch.
He strides those big long legs, gets there easily. Guzman continuing to do a nice job defensively for the Rangers, and you mentioned right before the pitch that the infield was in. And, as a part of you, that leadoff triple, nobody out. Not that you're conceding the run, but at the same time you're thinking it's a pretty good chance that that run is going to score. But after getting that first pop out, obviously now the odds are increasing here for Bartolo, and I thought maybe if we saw any hard contact this inning, that potentially would see somebody get up in the bullpen, but so far no. Very quiet in that Rangers bullpen. They just scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th to get this thing within 2. Somehow Bartolo can get this 6th inning completed. I got to believe Jeff Bannister would be pretty thrilled with that, even though it's already 6 runs across the board. The Rangers certainly in a really nice position, a chance to win this game, salvage game 4 of this 4-game series.
Well, the infield is once again in behind Bartolo. There you see it. And fouled away. 1-2 the count on Fowler. Tripled in the 4th inning. Flied out to left field back in the 2nd. One-two pitch. Inside, leaving things up.
This is one of the fun things that we can do with some of the StatCast information that we have. The sacrifice fly overlay. Anything within in front of that red line, certainly we do not believe there'd be a chance that Chapman could score beyond the green line. Pretty safe. And then right in that middle, kind of borderline. So you see how shallow it would be for Carlos Tocci, but you know Joey Gallo's got a really strong arm out there in left field, and all of those things come into account. The arm strength of the outfielder, how well the runner at third base runs, what kind of speed he has. I can see that middle of the road one right now. Watch Joey Gallo pick up another assist. Kind of fun a little bit, huh?
You saw him throw somebody out at third a couple nights ago at 100+ miles per hour.
What was tonight's 99?
I didn't see that on.
Pretty sure your color analyst threw it out there.
Bouncer second base, and Odor has Chapman hung up to Profar, running him to the plate. Whoa, did Chapman get underneath it? He did not. Profar put the ball on him, and that is out number 2. Really nice job by Rougned Odor again defensively at second.
Yeah, he's been getting it done so consistently now with the glove, and this is a really nice play. You have a decision you have to make here as a runner. Do you go on contact? And that was the play. The A's decided that ahead of time, but quickly Chapman realized he had no chance of scoring, so he gets in the rundown. And so at least in that situation, it gives Fowler an opportunity to get down to second base. But a good job there by Rougned. A good job by Jurickson Profar. One little pump fake there, and then he puts a tag on Chapman. Well executed by the Rangers.
Now, it was a great illustration of one of those things I think it's so hard for young players to do, which is when you get that baseball, you run right at the base runner.
Sprint.
Make him make that decision.
100%. You know, in spring training, you do it so many times. Even for pitchers, you're involved at PFP. And you're absolutely right. You don't dance with the guy that's running and trying to get you to kind of jump around a little bit. You just sprint right at him make a decision, make him commit. Now, big leaguers can get away with that little pump fake like we saw Jurickson Profar do, but you're actually taught at a younger age when you're an amateur not even to do that. Once you get the ball in the rundown, say you're Jurickson Profar, you continue to sprint at the runner. You never slow down, you never go his speed. Big leaguers are good enough to throw those fakes in there once in a while, but you got to be careful. And then there's a different school of thought. Some people teach it differently. So then if you're Robinson Chirinos, who's receiving the throw, just before you receive that throw, you'll take a couple of steps toward the runner to close that gap a little bit, so that by the time he won't be able to change direction. So imagine Jurickson Profar sprinting, running Matt Chapman toward home, and just as the throw is about to come, the Robinson Chirinos takes a couple of steps toward Jurickson Profar. And just take one throw and you're done. Big leaguers are a little bit more athletic than your average amateur baseball player, but you're going to see really good play here. Rougned does a good job, realizes what Chapman's doing, sprints, gets rid of it, and right there, if you're an amateur, sprint at him the entire time. But that was a really good read by Jurickson. As soon as he saw Matt Chapman kind of slow down and try to get in that rundown, he decided to hold on to it and tag him out himself.
Well, 3-1 on Nick Martini. Saw some good defense. Might help Bartolo get through this 6th inning. This will be his 90th pitch of the night. Man at second, 2 away.
This would be big. Martini's had some pretty good swings against Bartolo this evening.
Well, there's bar 4, so Martini will head to first base.
For a part-time player, he's gotten on base 4 times tonight. Triple single hit by pitch, and now the walk. I don't mind that one as much. Not that you're excited about facing Marcus Semien, but it just seems like Martini has seen the ball a lot better off of Bartolo Colon tonight. So you reset here, start over, fresh count with Marcus Semien. Good night for Bartolo so far, if he can get through this. You say, what do you mean good night? It's 6 runs, but he's kept the team, kept the Rangers in this game. They trail by 1. If he can get through this inning, if he can give Jeff Bannister 6 innings trailing by 1, I think you'll take it. Want to do that every night? No, you don't. But the idea, ultimately, as a starting pitcher, part of it is going deeper than the other guy, getting deep in the game, not beating up on your bullpen, and giving your team a chance to win. And thanks to the offensive support he has gotten, the Rangers do have a chance to
Semien
win.
lifts this one high in the air. Short center. Andrews is out from shortstop, and he'll make the catch. The inning is done. And Bartolo pleased with the effort. So 2 men left for Oakland. Go to the bottom of the 6th inning in a 1-run game. Casino and Resort leaderboard. It concerns Bob Melvin's bullpen. And their strikeouts per 9 since they started this great run that they're on right now. 33 games since June 16th. They're averaging 10.2 strikeouts per 9 innings out of their bullpen. Only the Astros and Yankees striking out opposing hitters at a higher rate.
If you're an A's fan, the idea of getting to the postseason with that bullpen is something you feel encouraged about. There are power arms. We've seen it already in this series. I'm not going to say that they can hang with anybody, but they're not that far off. I mean, the Yankees bullpen is so ridiculously deep. But the idea that they have multiple power arms that they can go to, shorten the game here in Oakland. One of those things, anything could happen in the wild card game. As you see the numbers for Pagano, it's been a good year for him. 39 strikeouts to 14 walks, good ERA. 37th game on the season.
The 1-0 to Ronald Guzman, and takes a strike. Guzman double and a strikeout.
And who knows? They go to a wild card game. You might see Blake trying to start it, Tampa Bay Rays style. The opener.
That would be pretty crazy.
You always got Familia to close it. Or Familia's a former starter. Came up as a starter, converted to a reliever. You could go that route. Long way away. You got to get there first.
Yeah. 1-1. Shanked over to the left side, fouling out of play. Certainly, if they play like they have been lately, the A's will have an opportunity to entertain that. They've gone 26-7 in their last 33 games. Pagan's 1-2.
One of the real joys of this time of year, trade season, right? Already a bunch of trades have gone down. It really is amazing how many people on social media can break down prospects. It's the stuff that you hear from people. It's so absurd. I can't. That's all we got. You don't even know who that guy is. You know nothing about that guy.
2-2. Guzman strikes out, so 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Carlos Tocci is headed to the plate. Let's check in again with Emily.
Yeah, with Delino DeShields being sent down to AAA to figure some things out, this does clear the way for Carlos Tocci to be basically this team's everyday center fielder. Carlos said he's been waiting for this opportunity, anxious to see what he can do when playing consistently, and intends to make the most of it. He said he's relied heavily on Elvis Andrus to kind of guide him through this process when he wasn't playing a ton, and hopefully transitioning to being able to be successful when he does get that consistent play.
Smart. Talk to those veterans who know a thing or two. I've certainly seen that story played out over and over this year with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He's done a great job of picking the brain of so many of the Rangers veterans. Tocci's last at bat, he lined out to center field, and it was a ball really pretty well struck.
101.
Yeah. And we go back to whether or not he will care or no. You know, in preparation for our broadcast the other day on Tuesday, talked to a lot of the guys, and almost to a man, they said could care less about exit velocity, launch angle, etc. Almost to a man.
And I agree, and I understand that totally. I will say this though: if you're going through a rough period and the hits aren't falling in, someone comes to you and says, you know, you're third on the team in exit velocity, like you're hitting it hard, you just haven't had the breaks, it's going to make you feel a little bit better. No two ways about it. You may feel like it and know, yeah, I feel like I've been hitting the ball hard, but when there's a number to put on it and the coach recognizes it or the team recognizes it and shares that with you, I think that is one of the values of all the data that we have. You know when you're going well. Nobody needs to tell you when you're going well. The numbers are there. But you might be struggling either as a pitcher or a position player. You know, we talked about that BABIP number, right? It could talk about some bad luck that you're having or good luck that you're having. And so there's always that opportunity to use data to maybe pick a player up a little bit when he might be struggling. I thought Ryan Rule was like that for a while at the beginning of the year. I know he's been up and down so many times this year. I think it's 5 recalls for him. And at one point, he was near the top of the Rangers. Joey Gallo, of course, has been crushing it all year when you start looking at exit velocity, but Rule was not that far behind, and I thought that was a good example of a guy who wasn't getting a lot of hits early on, but was actually swinging a pretty good bat.
Ooh, strike 3 called on Tochi, and that was borderline. 2 away. Oh, Benny liked it.
Well, he probably does it because based on what we had seen so far tonight, it felt like corners hadn't been called, and it really kind of felt like balls that were down near the bottom of the zone hadn't been called. And you look at that pitch on our Fox tracks, we have had pitches that have finished higher than that were called balls, and Joey Gallo's not having a great view that he had there from the bench. He knows. But we've seen it. There was a couple of guys that looked at some pitches that to us looked like they were at the very bottom of the zone and not called strikes. That one appeared to be below.
Chu hits this ball well out to left of center, headed back to the wall, and it bounces off the fence. He'll head to second base, and Chu's in there with a 2-out double. The second hit of the night, third time he's been on base, and he just missed hitting that one out.
I thought he had a chance here at an opposite field home run, double number 21 for Chu, but watch him jump all over this first pitch. Pretty good pitch, middle away. You're thinking, okay, get that first strike away, but Chu's not going to let that fastball go by, and he smokes this thing. And watch where it hits, right at the base of the wall. It's a nice job by Chu. Might have to get himself some new pants, but it's all right. Totally worth it.
So now we'll see if Odor can get him in. Rugi looking for his first hit of the night. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning and scored a run. Bounced into a double play that went 3-6-3. That was a really nice defensive play by Oakland, and then rolled out in the 5th inning. Ball 1 strike on Odor. The Rangers trailing by a run. We get through this 6th inning, and that's where things really get interesting. The late innings in this series have been a wild ride. 6 runs, 9 hits for Oakland, 5 runs, 8 hits for the Rangers. One and two. Now we've talked about it at length this week. Odor, 7-game hitting streak on the line here tonight. 12 hits on the streak, including a home run, a couple of doubles. But he's also walked several times. He's stolen 4 bases. And that's to say nothing of some of the great defensive plays he's turned in. Pagan's 1-2. And this one popped up and will end up in the seats. Well, it's a 4-game series. Strange things can happen. And you look at the first 6 innings of the games we have played so far. Rangers have outscored the A's 22-16. But from the 7th inning on, Oakland has outscored the Rangers 24-1 in this series. That's how they have won the first 3 games. That fellow right there, Chris Davis, largely responsible for those crooked numbers.
There's 11 runs that they scored on Tuesday from the 7th inning on. It was a little bit tough to swallow, but this has been a good offense that has done a nice job scoring late.
Swing and a miss, and Odor is the final out in this 6th inning. Pagan strikes out the side, so the Rangers leave a man. We'll go to the 7th now. Buckle up. A's lead the Rangers 6-5. lines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. Profar's got the Rangers to within a run. And there it is.
What is that?
Well, that's the set for one of the greatest television shows ever. The United States planted a flag on that thing in 1969. Here we go. Ground ball to start the 7th inning. Odor right there. Throws out Jed Lowry. One away. Well, with that, we pause for a moment to hear maybe something a little more truthful from the folks over at Kia.
At Kia, get America's best value backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Okay, 1 out on 1 pitch. And Cologne's had a couple of those innings tonight where he's been really efficient. In the 5th inning, used just 6 pitches. And a breaking ball in there for a strike to Chris Davis.
So Chris Davis has been really good. We know that, and he's shown a lot of power. Here's his slugging percentage over the last couple of seasons. This is versus everybody, right? So you see right down the middle, 946 that he has been slugging. It's a big number. Crushing pitches in that spot. Well, that's pretty good. All teams. Down and away, good place to go. Just 184 up and in 275. But look what he's done against the Rangers the last 2 seasons. Look at the slugging percentages and how they jump up. 1,400 down the middle, over 17 up and away. But even that down and away at 556, he has been good. Just better against the Rangers than he has the rest of the league over the last couple of seasons. Just comfortable in his ballpark against Ranger pitching. It's been slightly annoying, to be honest with you. It's impressive. Don't get me wrong. We're impressed. He's a good player. And a good guy.
Now 1-2 pitch off the plate.
After his first year, I think, in Oakland, and he's like, I want to stay here.
Yeah.
And that's refreshing to hear. You don't hear a lot of that. And you know, the problem is, of course, if you're too successful in Oakland, there's a decent chance you're going to move on to somewhere else because of the financial constraints that they work under. Chris Davis has been pretty vocal about the fact that he would like to remain in A and continue playing in Oakland.
Full count now. See the article, I don't know, maybe a year ago. Some of his downtime, you know, just to relax and whatnot. He likes to go to graveyards.
I did not see that.
Yeah. Let's just stroll through a graveyard. 3-2 pitch. And it's pop foul out of play. Well, a little activity now out on the Rangers bullpen as Bartolo closes in on 100 pitches. Alex Claudio getting ready out there.
Do you remember what jerseys the Rangers wore yesterday off the top of your head by any chance?
I don't, not off the top of my head.
Here's why I brought that up. I
Yeah.
could have sworn Alex was using a red glove yesterday.
He was.
Yeah, right. They weren't used, but they didn't have the reds on. That's usually just for Sunday, right? Red jerseys.
I don't know if it's just for Sunday, but I don't think they're in reds. There's a strikeout looking. Davis for the 2nd time tonight. Frozen by Bartolo Colon, 2 away.
Hopefully the Rangers play their cards right and we don't see Chris Davis again breaking that home run streak against the Rangers. Would be nice. There's that 2-seam fastball, maybe a little bit off the plate. Bartolo certainly will take it. And you see very little movement there from Robinson Chirinos. Nice job presenting that ball to Ted Barrett at home plate. I'd happen to notice his red glove yesterday. For a lot of pitchers, position players, you kind of get locked into your gamer. You have your one. You might be working on another glove that you're breaking in. You're kind of starting, for me at least, to get to that time of year. I like to break one in over the last 6 weeks or so to use it for next year. That would be the gamer for next year. You have your gamer glove and then toward the end. But Alex, obviously, a little bit of a different system. So you have to ask him about the blue-red glove switch.
Could be our monitors.
No, they're not that bad. They look blue in this black and white, I'm assuming.
2-1 to count.
I just love how the 4-by-3 ratio makes everybody look so thin.
Colon trying to get through 7. Jeff Bannister trying to get him there, give his teammates a chance to maybe get a lead for him in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2-2 the count now on Olson.
I feel like I find myself saying this a lot through Bartolo Colon starts. Oh, if he can just give you one more, that'd be great. And I kind of felt like that last inning. Oh, yeah, if he can get you through the 6th, you'd be pretty happy. And then here he is with an opportunity, 1 strike away from actually getting through 7. Just continues to amaze it. He gets ready to throw pitch number 105.
Olson's 0 for 3 so far tonight, and he takes that one a little bit low. It's a full count.
Of course, if he can finish this off, idea at least giving himself a chance to win the game. If the Rangers can come back, he is trying to stand alone at the top most wins by a Latin-born pitcher, currently tied with Dennis Martinez.
Hard ground ball down to first. Guzman takes it to the bag. Now can the Rangers get Bartolo those runs? Elvis Andrus starts things off for the Rangers. Beltre and Profar will follow. It's a 1-run game. By In-N-Out Burger. Well, who's in? Lou Trevino is in. A hard-throwing right-hander. Emilio Pagan out of the game. Trevino, part of that 3-headed monster at the back end of their bullpen.
And he has been crushing it. We saw him last night. I was talking about the depth of this bullpen and the high-powered arms. Trevino is one of them. A fastball that has been averaging 97.5 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and make that 98. A whip under 1. He picked up a win in last night's ball game. That was win number 8 for him. I know reliever wins don't mean a ton, but he is leading all of Major League Baseball in that category. That's about the, I don't know, 8th or 9th best thing he's doing this year.
Well, he draws a pretty tough assignment. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Rangers: Andrus, Beltre, and Jurickson Profar. Swing and a miss, count 0-2, and as we pointed out, the likelihood is that Bartolo Colon is done for the night after his 7 innings. So in this spot, the Rangers need to get at least 2 runs to give him a shot to win it. This is Bartolo's 4th attempt at trying to get that elusive win, number 246 in his career. 100 miles per hour on that one, and Elvis hit it right off his thumbs. 0-2. Breaking ball. Ooh. Fouls that one off of Lucroy. Well, here we go. The conversation. Bartolo and Jeff Bannister. 106 pitches. It's about as much reaction as you get from Bartolo.
Yeah. It was interesting. Banny told us a couple of weeks ago that he said every time he takes Bartolo out of a game, that Bartolo thanks him. Not for taking him out of the game, but for the opportunity to pitch.
It's awesome. Little bloop out to center field, hangs up, and Fowler able to get to it, one away. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it over to Dana Larson. Thank you.
Saw that one. That was that good Manny Machado swing, one we've seen throughout his career, but the whole year this year, he's got to be loving life in Los Angeles right now as a member of the Dodgers. He's already headed to probably a pretty good payday this offseason. But the idea of getting some more postseason at bats, he's played in 7 postseason games, but has only hit 174. The first time he was in the postseason, he was 19 years old in 2012. It's amazing. Think about what you were doing when you were 19.
I'd rather not.
And Manny Machado was playing against the New York Yankees and the Texas Rangers that year in 2012.
One.
That's unbelievable. This guy's arm's unbelievable, man. They got basically 3 of these guys down there. And I know that we see triple digits often, or more often, obviously, than we ever used to in this game. He can do it. Trinan can do it.
Ooh. Ooh. Get your blood pumping right there.
Trying to go up over the plate, and that one just ran in. It's like any pitcher, regardless of how hard you throw, you pull off a little bit or fall off to the left side for a right-handed pitcher just a little bit too early. That ball is going to sail on you and get more movement on it than you want.
Full count now. 1 out, nobody on in the 7th.
This is how the A's are built right here, right? Not starting pitching that's not going to get particularly deep in the game. They love the idea of handing it off to their bullpen with a lead, at least in the 7th, but even they're deep enough to do it in the 6th.
Rangers have made good contact today. There's a swing and a miss by Beltre. And he strikes out for the 2nd out of the inning. 5 runs on 8 hits and some extra base hits in there. But when you get into this part of the bullpen, things can get pretty challenging. Here comes Jurickson Profar. Now, you were telling the story about, Bartolo and how when Banny takes him out of games, he always thanks him. Bob Melvin, who this week was recalling how when he used to go out and talk to Bartolo in the middle of a game, he'd go out there and say, "Hey, how you feeling?" And Bartolo would say, "Fine, how you doing?"
So would it surprise you to know that the league is batting 171 on pitches 100 miles an hour and harder this year? I feel like that sounded high to me.
A little high, yeah. I mean, I guess not all 100-mile-per-hour pitches are the same. Some have good movement. Some are, I guess, disguised better than others. But we've all seen those guys who throw really hard, maybe not 100, but who throw really hard and yet are quite hittable. I suppose there are some guys out there who can hit 100 and still be pretty hittable. What's interesting is this run for Oakland. The difference between the production they've gotten from the starting pitching and the bullpen. We talked about how great the bullpen is. We saw those numbers earlier about the strikeouts per innings pitched. Now, this is going into the game tonight. Starters averaging 5 1/3 innings per game. They're not getting much length out of their starters. And the ERA at 4.23. I mean, it's okay. It's certainly respectable. But the reliever is just so much different and so much better. And Bob Melvin has had to get so much more length out of them. When you figure a 33-game stretch and your starters have only thrown 50 more innings than your bullpen during that time, that's some pressure on the pen. It's also a pen that's done real well.
Well, you see teams that understand that a little bit more. Obviously, it's not your first choice, but they seem to be more accepting of it and say, okay, well, what's the solution? Just get your bullpen deeper. Go out and get Juris Familia, even though we already have a couple of really big arms at the back end. And more and more teams, I think, are subscribing to that thought that, yeah, they'd love to have a Justin Verlander type, a guy who can still go deep into games. But if not, just get your bullpen better, because you can win in the postseason with that kind of bullpen.
And we were talking earlier about the idea of them going out and adding to their rotation and most likely really needing a right-handed starter. But the other side of that is, to your point, kind of like the Kansas City Royals. Well, maybe we just forget that endeavor of trying to come up with a great starting staff. We're not going to have one as good as some of these teams like the Houston Astros or the Yankees. But let's have a better bullpen, or at least a deeper bullpen. And so if you can shorten a game to being just a 6-inning game or a 5-inning game, then, you know, maybe that gives you a similar advantage. And so it may well be that they don't go out and target another starter, but they go out and add another lockdown stud reliever.
They're easier to get. Not that they're easy to find, but they're certainly easier to get.
Yeah, and there are more of them out there as Profar takes ball 4 and he draws the 2-out walk. A tying run on here in the 7th inning.
I mean, what have we seen so far? Familia, Colme, Zach Britton. We're not even all the way to the deadline yet. Pereira, right? These guys have already been traded this year. Impact arms, upper 90s fastballs. And once you realize you're probably not going to be a contender, those relievers have value. We've seen some of the trades as far as the pieces that have gone back to teams for, especially controllable relievers.
It'll be their issue to figure out in Oakland, of course. Joey Gallo takes a mighty rip here. Well, this might represent one of the better opportunities the Rangers get late in this game. A man on, 2 outs. Gallo up there with a base runner. Joey already has a hit tonight. Drove in a run with a ground out back in the 1st inning as well. Power on power here. One and one. And you don't get a guy who hits the ball as far and as hard as Joey Gallo. And there aren't many pitchers who can throw quite as hard as Trevino, who's hit 100 on a number of occasions already this inning. Should those two meet squarely?
Oh, man.
Look out.
So according to Baseball Savant, there were 6 home runs hit last year on pitches 100 miles an hour or higher. 0 so far this year.
Oh, interesting.
So point being, it's time. The time has come.
Well, it would be worth the price of admission tonight right here. Profar at first. 1 and 2, and you know Gallo's not shortening up here. Big open stance. It's 2 and 2. The other thing I like about this situation, not just that there's a runner on for Joey, but Trevino, he's had to work a little bit. This will be his 25th pitch of the inning. As good as he has been, as good as he is, certainly more likely to wobble a little more deeper in an inning. 2-2. And it's a full count.
I mean, there's no way he's just not thinking fastball, right? If you're Trevino, he missed with a couple of breaking pitches. Good job by Joey Gallo.
There you see it, obviously.
They're throwing the mask pitch.
Profar's running the 3-2 pitch outside, ball 4. So back-to-back 2-out walks. All right, Trevino adding a little fuel to this Rangers fire. Beginning to simmer just a little bit here. See if they can cash in. 2-minute board, 2 out. Robbie 0 for 2 today with a walk, but this was yesterday early in the game off Edwin Jackson with 2 men on in front of him, and it was a 3-run homer. And he's been hit with some pretty good power lately. Now he likes these spots. Nearly a 300 hitter with runners in scoring position. As Profar at second, Gallo at first. Profar off in the distance there. There's Joey. All right, Trevino after a little bit of a pause. And this ball hit hard over third. That is just foul. Wow, so close.
Well, Robbie being on a first pitch slider, right? You're watching this guy throw 98 to 100. He gets a first pitch slider and just barely out in front of it.
Incoming.
I mean, it's pretty consistent that our ball girls are just quicker than the security guards.
Yeah. No argument here. Well, that was interesting. Lance Barksdale, our third base umpire, right on top of it, had the right call. So Profar back to second, Gallo at first. A 1-run game, 7th inning. And zipped off the plate outside, 1-1.
Robbie's been okay against high velocities, 98 and higher. I mean, you don't see it that often. He's 2 for 10 over the last 2 years. He had a base hit earlier this year on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball from Hector Rondon. He had a base hit last year against Jose Alvarado on a pitch that was 98.6 miles per hour.
One and two. So it's been a long inning for Trevino. This now his 30th pitch in this 7th inning. The 1-2. Trevino strikes out swinging, and the Rangers leave a pair. So now to the 8th inning tonight. Oakland hanging on to a 1-run lead.
line that got past Ronald Guzman. Balls that were hitting the gap today. We've seen a lot of triples for in this game so far. There's Martini with one. There's Jurickson Profar with one. They're what seems like triples alley this team. So there's been some good offense. 17 hits combined, 11 runs. But the A's are clinging to a 1-0 lead here in the top of the 8th inning. Jeff Bannister has decided to get into that bullpen. Nice job by Bartolo Colon tonight. You should take a look at the pitch arsenal for the lefty Alex Claudio. Fastball, changeup, slider for Alex. And talked about this last time. Last time he pitched, really good ground ball rate for him. Well, that has to do with the arm angle in which he throws from. 63%. We were talking about Trevor Cahill earlier, the starter for the A's. And a ground ball rate of 59% coming into this game. Alex even better than that at 63. He's done a nice job too with the strikes, walking just 1.7 batters per 9.
So he takes over in this 8th inning. And his first offering off the plate to Piscotty. Stephen Piscotty leading things off, had the base hit back in the first. He has struck out and grounded out since then. 6-5 Oakland. And that one somehow makes its way to the plate at 71 miles per hour for a strike. Had to stop about halfway there and reload the fuel. Tapper towards shortstop. Andrews charges, gets it on a nice high hop, one away. Well, MLB.TV is now available at a lower price. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game live with MLB.TV. Your subscription includes MLB At-Bat Premium, which allows you to watch on your favorite supported devices. Just go to MLB.TV for details. Matt Chapman's had a nice night. A home run, a triple, a walk. He has scored 2, driven in a run, and he takes strike 1. Well, the really bright young stars in our division and in the American League. Hits this ball hard out to center field, and Tocci on a dive can't get it. So Chapman to second base, and he will try for 3. He'll get there easily. Chapman's second triple of the game.
And 5th for the year, and this is one of those plays. It was going to take a great play for Carlos Tocci to get this ball. There's a good look at the sidearm fastball from Alex Claudio. He's trying to throw that pitch away. It came back over middle. Watch Tocci here. He's low and goes full extension, just misses it. It was a good effort, stumbling a little bit as he got closer, but could not come up with it. And you knew that there was a good chance it was going to be a triple. 5 of them in the game this evening.
4 by Oakland, which is a new franchise record. Martini, Fowler, each with a triple. Chapman with 2 of them. 1 strike pitch, infield is in. And Lucroy in a hole 0-2.
It's interesting with this ballpark because a lot of times we do talk about getting the ball in the air, especially when it's hot. It can be a good place to hit home runs, and more often than not, good home run ballparks are not necessarily good triples ballparks, right? The triples ballparks are the ones that are bigger, but there is that deep right field corner, 407. That's where we've seen some of the triples go. Now that's an example of an outfielder diving and missing, and that's certainly going to happen. You know, Colorado's the exception. It's such a huge field, but you get one in the gap as well, and you have a pretty good chance of getting a triple there. But when you think like the home run ballparks, like, I don't know, Cincinnati, you know, the smaller ballparks, Camden Yards, you're not really thinking you're going to see very many triples.
Fly ball to shallow right field. Chu able to track it down, tagging at third. Chapman, here's the throw, not in time, and he'll score on the Lucroy sac fly to very short right field. So now a 2-run lead for the A's.
But Chu might have been battling the lights here. I'm not sure there was much he could do anyway. Got to make sure you catch his ball first. We didn't get that opportunity to get behind the ball exactly like you would want, but he still made a pretty strong throw. See right there, making sure he caught it first and foremost. That's a good recovery.
Mark Cannon will pinch hit here for Dustin Fowler. And the first pitch, it's the outside corner for a strike. So 8th inning, Oakland has made it a 7-5 ball game, and Canna's first at bat of the evening here. Claudio flips it to the plate, but low. It is that time of year. The trade rumors swirl, news sort of jumps up on you at all times of the day and night. And there was a bit of news in the division today as well, as the Houston Astros acquired Martin Maldonado from the Angels. So the Astros needing a little help at catcher after Brian McCann, who underwent surgery on his knee earlier in the month, and said might not come back until September. So they went out and got Martin Maldonado. They sent a left-handed pitcher, Patrick Sandoval, out of their minor league system, as well as some international bonus signing money. As this pitch is outside, and the count goes to 2-2.
Maldonado's a good catcher. That's a nice pickup for the Astros in case Brian McCann cannot come back. Defensively does an excellent job.
Yeah, Gold Glover.
You talk about that staff. I mean, the defense behind the plate is hugely important.
Ground ball, hooked foul. We'll do it again. With a good reaction by our ball girl down the line.
We talked about Chapman with the 2 triples in this game, and oddity, you don't see it very often. The only other Oakland A's player to triple twice in a game and hit a homer. Remember Adam Piet? Did I say his name?
Piet?
Piet, yeah.
Yeah. Longtime minor leaguer, got very
Yeah.
few opportunities in the big leagues. 2-2, fly ball out to right field and hangs up for Chu. And that will end the inning, but Chapman scored on the sac fly. We go to the last of the 8th. The Rangers offense needs to get going. They trail by 2. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. Spectacular shot of the Dallas skyline. 7-5. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rangers still with 2 bats with which to work. Mark Canha stays in the game in center field for Oakland, as one might expect. And Familia has come on here. It'll be his 42nd appearance overall. That's with the Mets and with Oakland. With Oakland, what, just his 4th? 3rd?
I think it's his 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. But guy that was closing for the Mets and now setting up here. A guy that they could even use multiple innings. So they plan on doing with him. But another power arm. Fastball's been averaging right around 96 this year, but why not kick it off with 98 with movement?
Yeah, this may be a little bit the model that we see, at least for Oakland, to continue to add guys like Familia. I say like, you're not going to get too many right at his level. So his offering to Guzman, pulled first base side. Nice backhand stop Olsen, but he can't get it cleanly, and Guzman is safe. Now, it was in his glove momentarily, but really a pretty nice play to get to it. Guzman reaches via the error.
The ball was hit hard. You see the breaking ball there from Juris Familia. Good job by Guzman to get a good swing on it. Hit on the ground, but you see it right there. And Olsen, he didn't know where it went. Thought he had. He never looked back at the ball after it popped out of his glove, or he couldn't field it. He's looking around.
Okay, so a base runner now, and Willie Calhoun announced as the pinch hitter for Tochi. Calhoun just called up here in the 2nd half. Had a home run the other day. 1 for 3 in yesterday's game. 4 hits since being recalled from Round Rock on Friday. Very adept hitter, has a lot of skills in the offensive tool bag. Defensively, still trying to get used to left field. The power may have fallen off just a touch here in 2018 for him.
Yeah, it was an interesting article today, actually, in one of the local papers about Willie Calhoun and the power. And Jeff Bannister was quick to come to his defense and say, listen, this guy's got to get comfortable. Not worried about him getting too big. You want at-bats like that right there.
Yeah, base hit out to center field. Guzman stops at second. First 2 men on here in the 8th inning.
And that is not an easy thing to do, but Willie Calhoun's swing is one that you have some confidence in, that he might be able to pinch hit against some power arms once in a while. And it's the thought that he's not trying to pull, he's not trying to hit the ball in the stands, but he's taking what the pitcher will give him. And when it's a fastball up and away and it's borderline of being a strike, that's the swing you want to see. Stay level, park that ball in the left field, and just kind of keep the line moving here against a tough 8th bullpen.
So the tying runs are on in the 8th. Opportunity tonight for the Rangers to deal a little payback to Oakland. Oakland with some dramatic and improbable come from behind victories last couple of nights.
By the way, that was first pinch hit for Willie Calhoun in his young career. He was 0 for 2 going into that at bat.
Chu comes up empty here. Chu with a double, a single, a walk tonight, and all over the bases again. Infield at double play depth. Outfield swung over to left. As Chu holds up, did he go? Oh, he did. According to Lance Barksdale, 0-2 the count.
Take a look at this from the side for Chu. That is really, really close. Some frustration there on the part of Shin-Soo Choo, understandably so. He's got a battle here, down 0-2. A very good right-hander with a live arm.
Oh-2. Just trying to keep the at-bat going here. See if he can get Familia to give him something to drive. So it's been a little while for Chu on the home run front. Even though he has 18 already this year. Recently completed a 52-game on-base streak. Two-strike offering. And fouled away. Well, last inning, the Rangers had to deal with Lou Trevino and put some good at-bats on him. A couple of walks created an opportunity late in the inning. This inning, first two-man reach against Familia. We'll see if Chu can wear him down here. Advance the cause just a little bit further. One and two.
Yeah, I wanted to finish up a thought in that article that Jerry Fraley wrote in the Dallas Morning News about Willie Calhoun and the power. Something I really hadn't put a lot of thought into, but something the Rangers had said. A lot of shifts, even at the minor league level now, were happening. And Willie Calhoun was getting shifted, and he was making adjustments. That's one of the biggest complaints we hear from fans, right? That players aren't adjusting to shifts, and it's not an easy thing to do. Well, Willie Calhoun was doing that at the minor league level, and so when you do that, that last at bat's a perfect example. You're going to give up some home runs in exchange for some hits, and I love that. You want to be a hitter first, you add power second. So the idea of trying to come through a minor league system, find your way in the big leagues, prove that you belong in the big leagues. I think you got a better chance these days if you can prove that you're a little bit more of an all-field hitter. Unless you have great power and you're not missing very often and you're getting those home runs, that's one thing. It's not an easy thing to do, though. Much more impressive to watch a young hitter working on beating the shifts, and not that you're thinking about batting average, but have some pride in the idea of having a high batting average and not selling out just for the home run.
Two pitch. Chu takes the dirt. That one bounces away from Lucroy, but everybody holds. So from 0-2 to a full count. Well, there's a guy you'd love to see bat with a number of runners on base. He'll be next. Rangers 4 for 14 with runners in scoring position tonight. That one fouled off again.
Good job by Chu to battle off a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and a very well-located one at that.
Well, he's going to force a 9th pitch in this at-bat.
This pitch, I'm going to put in a much better spot in a full count with that kind of velocity.
Guzman at second, Calhoun at first. Oh, strike 3 called, and Chu disagrees. 1 out in the 8th inning.
Frustrating at bat for Chu. Even though he battled, he obviously came out on the losing end. Here's a breaking ball, and probably just caught the outside corner. It was really close. That was a good look at our box tracks too there, where you didn't see Familia. Even though he's got the high-powered stuff, really didn't miss over the middle plate at all. Everything was down on the corners or off the plate. That was a good battle between Chu and Familia.
Okay, 1 away. Odor 0 for 3, hit by a pitch earlier, scored a run. They play him deep in the outfield. Swings and misses at strike one.
So Rugi is 1 for 2 against Familia over the course of his career. Obviously, pretty small sample size. He's walked against him once, but he also hit a double. So he's a little bit familiar with the right-hander.
Rugi's been so good here in the second half. It's a piece of that one. 0-2 the count. Down the count 0-2. That's when things get tough for any hitter when they're in a hole like that. Calhoun at first, Guzman at second. High fly ball foul. These last couple of nights, so much of the action has been on the A's side. Quiet a little bit in these late innings so far. Rangers have had opportunities. Got a hard time cashing in, though. You look at the difference in batting average with runners in scoring position in this series. Early in the game, look, they're pretty even. The A's 8 for 24, Rangers 10 for 34 in those first 6 innings. In the late innings, wow, 11 for 22 for Oakland. The Rangers have not had a base hit with a runner in scoring position. 7th inning on in this series. 1-1 right here. The tying runs are on base. And it stays 1-2. Rugi's already fouled one off of his foot earlier today. Actually, it was a hit by pitch back in the first inning that hit him.
Yeah, a little bit of a delayed reaction here. Didn't see this coming at first for Rugi, but he's obviously in some serious pain as he made his way around the back of home plate and then hit the ground pretty quickly.
Matt Lucero out there working on that lower right portion of the leg. Jeff Bannister just to make sure he's okay. Whatever it was, clearly was bothering him. Right off the front of that shin guard. Boom.
Man. See, the reaction was, slightly delayed there a little bit, but obviously that one really hurt.
Well, we talk so much about catchers and the perils they have to deal with. All the nicks and bruises and foul balls that strike them. Hitters, I've always marvel at their ability to take those hard foul balls off the shin and the ankle and whatnot. And it occurs to me, really hadn't given this little tidbit that much thought. Pitchers, they have some danger to deal with out there. There's no doubt.
Sure.
But you guys, you don't take too many bumps and bruises like these other guys do.
No, not nearly as consistently as hitters do.
There's a risk for a lot more injury with the arm. 1-2 pitch. And this ball hit high in the air down the right field line, but it's foul.
Man. It's like a little Kirk Gibson moment there, right? Rugi hobbling around. Come out. Put one in the right field bleachers. I think he would have gave the fist pump going around. first base, in between first and second.
You think he's familiar with that moment?
I think so. I think he's seen it. Maybe not the details of it. I forget how old we are sometimes.
Yeah. 1-2. It's up and away. Odor doing some pretty good battle here. Rangers got 2 runs in the first, a run in the second, 2 runs in the 5th inning. They've also stranded 8. Familia now at that 20 pitch threshold tonight. And this will be the 8th pitch of this at bat, and it's in the air down the left field line and heads to the seats. So what was it? 9 pitches back. Now this will be a 9 pitch at bat.
These guys are doing a good job. I mean, Familia's got a big arm, live arm, really good stuff. He's a good strikeout pitcher. The Rangers so far are doing their best to try to hang in there. It's a good battle right now going on between first Chu and now Rougned Odor.
Runners with their leads again. Familia huffing and puffing, and this one looped out towards center field. Canna angles back and makes the play. Guzman tags and advances. The Rangers have him on the corners.
How about the carry on that ball?
Yeah. It's weird. It was a very weird looking swing.
Yeah. I mean, he still squared it up. It looked like he might have caught it off the end when you first saw it. It looked like maybe it's a little out front with a one-handed swing. But watch how far this ball ends up going. Breaking ball. And he did, right? See how the hand came off the bat? So you make the assumption that he didn't hit it very well. That hand came off right at contact or just after. I thought this was a shallow fly ball.
So did I.
Look at this. That's some depth to it.
Well, pinch runner Ryan Rua takes over at first base for Willie Calhoun. So it's Guzman at third, Rua at first. It's going to be up to Elvis Andrus. Base hit, a walk on his 1-for-3 night. Hitting streak now at 8 games for Elvis. It's a piece. Well, it's been a very challenging homestand. Coming out of the All-Star break, Rangers went into the break on a long 10-game road trip. Detroit, Boston, and Baltimore. Managed 3 wins on that trip. Then out of the break. Well, you looked at the second half schedule, you knew it was going to be a tough one. Playing in the toughest division in baseball, and so the preponderance of the games in division down the stretch. But then you start with Cleveland at home. This next road trip, we've got Houston and Arizona, a team battling in the National League West. And so far, this homestand been a toughie, only 1 win. Only 1 the count.
You were mentioning it earlier how all 100-mile-an-hour fastballs are just all high velocity pitchers. I guess you could even say fastballs in general are not created equal. I think Familia is a really good example of that. Nothing's really straight that he throws. Fastball's got really good life on it. See some pretty good movement. Same thing with Trinan, who we'll likely see in the 9th.
Oh, this one bounces away. Here comes Guzman. He'll score. It's a 1-run game. And Rua thought about third base for a moment, but he'll hold it second. Not so sure that Rua would have had a legitimate shot, but you cannot make that third out over there. A wild pitch makes it a 1-run game.
Take a look at the breaking ball down in the third. Jonathan Lucroy tries to get there, does everything right, but that ball just scoots right past him. So you see Guzman scoring easily. Good read right there by him, but the Rua part of this certainly was interesting. I think he made the right choice as well. You make the aggressive turn, put on the brakes, play it safe. Give Elvis Andrews an opportunity to drive you in with a base hit.
Good hitters count here. Inside, look out.
Mentioned not very straight from Familia. Like a four-seamer too with that kind of movement. Almost caught some jersey.
Familia headed toward fairly unfamiliar territory. You look at Tuesday when he threw 24 pitches in 2 innings. He's at 26 pitches already. The season high for him this year, 30 pitches. That was back in March. It's full count.
What do you think Elvis Andrews is thinking with Adrian Beltre on deck? He's not going to throw me a 3-1 slider. He certainly did, and it was a really good one on the corner. I mean, it's very reasonable to sit fastball, get geared up for 98, 99. And Familia does that. This is tough as a hitter. Because now you're saying, what's he going to do? Is he going to go back to it? Is he going to go to the heater? I feel like it'd be slider here based on some of the fastball command, but he also threw his slider away too, so we'll see.
Well, a moment of truth. Tying run at second. And a bouncer foul, so he came with the fastball.
With Elvis representing the go-ahead run, you don't take advantage, I don't think, of saying, well, first base is open now with Adrian Beltre on deck. But with the movement that he has, if you're going to go fastball, and you've seen this from Jonathan Lucroy, I don't think you really want to set up on a corner. Outer thirds, maybe outer half, she'll shade a little bit. You're trying to keep Familia on the plate. So you generally sit mostly middle. You can see it right there.
High pop up, heading foul. That one will end up among the fans. 20,533 are paid attendance tonight. Final game of this 4-game series with Oakland. How about this? Another long at bat. This will be the 8th pitch of this at bat with Elvis. The final time Oakland will play here this year. 3-2 pitch. A broken bat roller, third base. Chapman charges, throws, and he gets Andrews to end the inning. The Rangers get one back, though. It's a 1-run game, and we're going to the 9th.
the game started. Well, it's been the typical Chris Davis game against the Texas Rangers as he gets thrown out by Joey Gallo at home plate. Bartolo Colon has done some really nice work against Davis this evening with a couple of strikeouts. So he does have a base hit. He's got his helmet on because he is due up fourth this inning. We'll try to keep him out of the batter's box because Chris Davis has a 6-game streak of homering against the Texas Rangers, one shy of Ken Griffey Jr., who has the opponent's record, 7 games straight in which Ken Griffey Jr. homered against Texas. And so it'll be Jake Diekman's job to make sure that we don't see that man right there.
Rua stays in the game. He's in center field. And Jake Diekman is the new Rangers hurler. Fastballs and sliders. Face a pinch hitter, Chad Pender, and Pender fouls off strike one.
Martini only has 1 at-bat against lefties this year and came in hitting .304 against righties. So I guess Bob Melvin just not going to give him an opportunity at all to hit against left-handed pitching.
Diekman's 0-2, and this one lifted high in the air out to short left field. Gallo in position, one away. So our Wells Fargo look ahead tomorrow, as we mentioned, in Houston. Well, final time the Rangers and the Astros get together this year, and some middle infielders with some pretty storied careers already. Andrus over the 1,500 hits on this homestand. Altuve just shy of 1,400 in his career. Two of the best in the game. Should be a fun series. Marcus Semien, a hit tonight. He comes up empty on that one, and he's in a hole 0-2. Infield plays him straight away. And he had no chance. Strikes out on 3 pitches, 2 away.
Jake Diekman looking pretty comfortable here tonight. 6 pitches, 6 strikes, including this strikeout of Marcus Semien as he goes above the zone. Good heat. Good to see Jake Diekman off to a good start in this game because he struggled at home, and he's talked about it too, and said just not quite feeling right here at Globe Life so far this year. The opponent's average more walks than strikeouts. I guess after that 1 strikeout would be 16 punch outs, but look at the difference. I mean, the ERA, the opponent's batting average, all of those numbers. Kind of a strange year for Diekman in that regard.
1-1 the count. Oh, those are crazy splits.
That was a reliever. I think he has 17 innings at home. It only takes a couple bad innings, a couple bad games, and those numbers get blown out of proportion. But he's absolutely dominated on the road this year. Cole Hamels was kind of in that same boat, not nearly the spread, but one that was somewhat significant.
Foul ball makes it 2-2 on Jed Lowry. Well, no real surprise. You look out to the Athletics bullpen. Blake Trinan getting ready out there, working with a 1-run lead. Trinan, their fabulous closer, would come on in the 9th. Diekman trying to make sure this stays a 1-run game. Updates on some other stories we were mentioning earlier. News coming out now that Aaron Judge, who was hit on the wrist with a ball and at bat, he's going to miss 3 weeks.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Lowry strikes out swinging, and Diekman 1-2-3 through the 9th. Now, bottom of the 9th coming. Adrian Beltre, the veteran, will lead things off. Jurickson Profar and Joey Gallo to follow. It's a 1-run game. to fashion one of those come-from-behind wins tonight. Looking ahead at our Ford probables tomorrow. Giovanni Gallardo will have the start for the Rangers as we head down to Houston. He's pitched well down in the juice box. And Dallas Keuchel, you see his numbers in his last 9 starts against the Rangers. Those are good. He's 5-0, though, with an ERA of 2 in his last 7 starts. He has turned things around in a big way for the Astros, and he'll have the ball in the opener tomorrow night. Well, Pinder stays in the game for Oakland and replaces Martini in left field. And Blake Trinan, indeed, has come on here in the 9th.
And the right-hander's got a big arm, 36 of 30 in his save opportunities so far this year. The whip under 1, the ERA barely over 1. 68 strikeouts to 18 walks. We saw him last night. Fastball at 99 miles an hour with some really, really good movement on it.
First pitch misses a little high to Adrian Beltre for a ball. Beltre has 2 hits tonight, scored a run. Rangers want to salvage a win in this series. Final time they host Oakland. They will go to Oakland a couple of times yet. They'll go to Oakland on a long trip in San Francisco, frankly, in late August. They'll play 3 in Oakland, take a day off, and then play 3 in San Francisco for a week there in the Bay Area. And then later on in early September, they'll see Oakland again out at the Coliseum. 3-0. So Beltre in a great spot here. You let him swing 3-0?
Adrian Beltre has all the trust in the world from Jeff Bannister, but this is a tough guy to swing against 3-0. And you look at that, you say, well, it's 97, upper half of the zone, upper third. Will that be the best pitch that he gets to hit? And it might be. It's a tough call, but if Adrian wanted to, he certainly would be allowed to. Jeff Bannister wouldn't have an issue with it, but he's got so much great movement too. It's a really tough spot to be in as far as making that decision. You could go either way.
Chops this one foul. If you were Trinan, right, and
yeah,
let's just assume you had his stuff and whatnot,
yeah,
and you're 3-0 on a guy like Beltre, let's say Beltre, Pujols, somebody in that, stratosphere.
Yeah.
All right, you feel pretty confident that they're taking, right?
The game has changed a little bit in that regard, though, lately.
So you're
not shooting corners. No, I mean you're going to shoot middle. You're going to, without a doubt, try to throw a strike over the heart of the plate. And I think if you're Blake Trinan, you tell yourself, it's fine. I got good enough movement that I'm going to throw this ball down the middle, and he'd actually be doing me a favor to swing. That's what you got to tell yourself to make sure you're throwing that pitch with conviction.
This ball smacked by third into left field, base hit, third of the night for Adrian Beltre, and the Rangers have the tying run on in the 9th.
It's a great at-bat by Adrian against a really, really tough righty. Go ahead and watch this pitch here after he sees a steady diet of 96 to 98. This one at 97 miles an hour. That's a 2-seam fastball with some movement. Great job by Adrian to get enough barrel on that ball to get it into left field.
Well, he's lifted for pinch runner Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Takes over there at first base. So the youthful legs carrying the tying run. All right, Jurickson Profar had a 2-run triple in the 5th inning, walked in the 7th. Rangers trying to turn the tables on Oakland. One of the hottest teams, one of nothing. I mean, they are the hottest team in baseball. 26 wins and 7 losses in their last 33 games. And they have made a very steady march up in the standings and making folks up in Seattle sweat, which is hard to do up there. Cold and overcast usually. Profar started after, couldn't stop himself. It's 0-2.
And that is so filthy. 97 miles per hour, Jurchen Profar. By the time he recognized that that ball was going to be at the bottom of the zone, probably below the zone, it was way too late. But look at the movement again at 97. It's crazy.
Play Profar straight up on the infield. Kiner Falefa, small lead. The pitch inside gets away, and Kiner Falefa will go to second base. The tying run in scoring position.
It's one of the downsides to having the great stuff is that it can be difficult to catch. That ball almost hit Jurchen Profar. Blake Treinen knew he didn't want to throw a strike. He tried to throw that back foot slider, tried to go down and in, and he did, but yanked it a little bit, and Jonathan Lucroy couldn't get to it. It's a tough pitch to block anyway.
We have seen some improbable things in this series. There's the 1-2. Profar fouls it away. But Oakland this year, they're the last team standing in terms of their winning percentage when leading after 7 innings. The A's are 40-0 when they lead after 7 innings. They took a lead in this one into the 7th inning. They currently lead by a run. So this is a situation that they have been able to manage with perfection to this point of the season. The 1-2 fouled away. But then again, we saw something Tuesday night that this franchise had never seen. So who knows? My guess is that Oakland will not finish the year with a perfect record leading after 7 innings. That's pretty hard to do.
It is. They put themselves in a good position as far as the depth of pitching that they have to try to make that happen. But you're right. Law of averages catches up at some point.
So that being the case, if there are going to be a handful of those losses, then might as well start getting used to it. Swing and a miss. Profar strikes out, 1 away. All right. Nothing hurt. Joey Gallo now, and he can win it with 1 swing. So Kiner Falefa out at second base. Treinen's first pitch. Gallo twitched but held off. That one looked like it might have been outside. It's called a strike.
See a little frustration there in the face of Joey Gallo. It's so difficult. You're battling through these kind of at-bats. Really tough pitcher. You see that pitch as a ball. You don't swing at it, and then it gets called a strike. And that was that backdoor slider slash cutter. Looks a little bit more like a cutter, smaller break. I don't think that thing was ever over home plate.
High fly ball out to left field. Pinder ranging in, drifting around, and he makes the catch. 2 away.
And I was throwing on the field the other day. We were talking about, oh, it's kind of fun, it's kind of neat or whatever to be out there. We're shooting something and flipped you a couple of pitches. What about the idea of trying to catch Joey Gallo fly balls?
You're like catching a cannonball.
Yeah, I mean, that right there is tough. I mean, big leaguers are obviously really good at it. That's no picnic.
No.
For a broadcaster. Trying to catch those.
I don't know if that's a picnic for a major league outfielder. Appreciate the bruises you left on my left shin. Some of your pitches.
I guess I could pretend that it was unintentional. That'll make you feel better.
Well, here we go. Last shot for the Rangers. Chirinos, who's had a little flair for the dramatic. This one flared out to second, and it's caught by Jed Lowry. So just like that, first pitch swinging, he went after it. Chirinos comes up empty. Boy, the Oakland A's continue their scorching play. They win it 7-6.
Thought this might have been the one. You talked about it. It's coming sooner or later, and Robinson Chirinos just misses getting that RBI base hit. And unfortunately for the Rangers, a 4-game sweep at the hands of the Oakland A's.
Well, Oakland's playing some pretty good baseball. Tough to have seen a 4-game sweep in this one, but that's exactly what we got. So stay with us. Dana Larson, Darren Oliver, and Tom Grieve back in the studio ready to break this one down for you tonight. For CJ Nitkowski, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. Still plenty more to come right after these words.
Oh, yeah.